The opening round is in the books, and now the stakes are even higher. The semifinals, as we welcome you inside Reynolds Coliseum, Raleigh, North Carolina, the setting for the 2021 ACC Wrestling Championship. Alongside Rock Harrison, Sean Kenny with you. North Carolina, Virginia, the early leader. Virginia Tech sitting third. NC State, the two-time defending champion Wolfpack, in the number 5 spot. But get ready for movement. A win in this semifinal round gets you a minimum 9 team points, and then you tack on the bonus point possibilities, a major decision worth an additional point, a tech fall worth 1.5 points, and then a fall forfeit DQ, all worth 2 points. So Rock, it's moving time now when you look at the team race.
NC State fans, don't get nervous. You all had a lot of first round buys, and you're right. This is where separation starts to happen. Moving on to the finals is huge, but you have to get there first, and I tell you, semifinal rounds are generally the most exciting rounds in the whole tournament.
125 is where we start. Sam Latona, the top seed, in action for the first time. Patrick McCormick, he was able to win a hard-fought battle earlier today. Logan Egan, the only 6th seed to advance. He pulls off the upset over Colton Camacho. He has Jacob Camacho, unrelated, the 2 seed, the reigning ACC champion from NC State. All the semifinals, by the way, throughout the afternoon on our 2 mats, Mat 1 and Mat 2. Coverage every play-by-play move on the ACC Network Extra. Patrick McCormick, Sam Latona ready to get going here. And Latona, the redshirt freshman out of the state of Alabama, and has he emerged as one of the stars in the sport in just his freshman year. The big defining moment for Latona was the duel with North Carolina State, in which he pulled off the late dramatics, able to get the takedown and then the 2 near fall points in a span of about 5 seconds as the clock expired. Not only did he knock off the reigning ACC champion Camacho, but with the bonus points, with the near fall, the duel was tied. It went down to the 4th tiebreaker criteria, and the points turned out to be the difference. Just an incredible scene inside Castle Coliseum earlier this year. Technical glitch with the scoreboard inside Reynolds Coliseum, so that's why we have a little bit of a delay at 125. And Rock, let's talk Sam Latona, what you've seen from this redshirt freshman. He had a lot of success before arriving in Blacksburg, but his development under Tony Roby and Coach Brewer has just been amazing this year for the Hokies.
Not just has he gotten better physically on the mat, but he's learned how to be a celebrity with that great win to seal the Virginia Tech NC State win. He's had to show maturity, not letting it get to his head and still perform. And even after that great match that he had against Jacob Camacho, he came back and had a fantastic win against another Camacho in Colton the very next week.
Scoreboard apparently fixed. We're ready to go. Great to have you with us. Semifinal round in one of the best wrestling conferences in the country, the ACC. We started the day, 5 ranked teams, 31 ranked wrestlers, 33 automatic qualifiers to emerge from this year's ACC championship. Patrick McCormick on the right for Virginia. He won over Will Guida earlier today by a score of 3-2. It was a hard-fought win for McCormick. And now they are going to switch over to Mat 2, so we will change our direction and we will go with Corbin Myers, Virginia Tech, and Joe Heilman of North Carolina. Or excuse me, we're going with Jacob Camacho and Logan Egan, 125. There we go. Well, how do you describe that wrestling move we just saw, Rock? What the old mat swap like that? Very casual. Does the Rock have a terminology on that?
Mistake. That's what it's called, mistake.
All right, here we go. 125. Camacho, the reigning ACC champion, NC State, in on an early shot. Nice job by Agan to fend it off. Swivels around to the front side, has the head buried of Camacho.
One of the things that one of the coaches said about Camacho that he really enjoys, and as a matter of fact, what this coach said that Camacho was his favorite wrestler to watch other than his own team. He said that Camacho always stays in his stance, and he really appreciates that about him. Sean, you always wonder, is it more advantageous to have a first-round match to get that second win, or to not have to wrestle at all? And for each wrestler, it's different. Some prefer to get that first match. Some say, look, I'd just rather be as fresh as possible.
Hagan working off the Russian tie, had the right arm for a moment, then tried to drop down to an ankle. Nothing to be found. No score in this semifinal at 125 pounds. Good footwork early on from Logan Hagan on the two shots we've seen from Jacob Camacho, who's usually very calculated when he launches and when he knows he's going to get two. But we've seen Hagan sidestep a couple of early shots.
Watch a knee tap.
No score, 2 minutes in. Big snap down there by Camacho. Working off the front head position.
Hagan's doing a good job of keeping Camacho, of tying Camacho up a little bit. Not often you see a minute, 2 minutes and 15 seconds and Camacho hasn't scored.
Logan Hagan, a true freshman, Lancaster, Ohio, out of Lancaster High School. He was a two-time Super 32 placer. Comes in on a shot. Again, no points. 30 seconds to go, first period. He was able to avenge an earlier loss in the opening round today to Pitt's Colton Camacho, no relation to Jacob. Waterfall position on the initial shot. Scramble situation. Remember, only 10 seconds to go.
Try to get the danger.
And the period ends.
Good fight by Hagan in the first period. Now this is typical of Camacho because he starts to build. May have a slower start, but he turns it on. Let's see if Hagan can match the firepower of Camacho.
Pat Papalizio described him truly as a student of the sport, carries around a notebook of every single match he wrestles in. He watches his heart rate. He really is his own coach at times, and that's rare for a sophomore like Camacho out of Danbury, Connecticut. Camacho able to get the escape early, a 1-0 lead. Now he comes in on a shot.
He's generally strong in his position. But what Hagan is doing is looking to grab the ankles or the shoelaces. If you cover them, you should be in a stronger position. But what Camacho's doing is trying to sit. Now watch a little pass by Hagan if Camacho stands to his feet. Good job by Hagan to keep him up. Now what Camacho's trying to do is push back on the pressure on the back and neck of Hagan to look for a danger call. Good fight here by both fellas. There's a pass. Now he's gonna pop the head and get for the takedown. Looks like a little Hagan hurt his hand or finger or something.
He used a lot of energy for a long time trying to work out of that predicament. Camacho gets the 2, a 3-0 lead. Second period, let's see if Egan can try to get away. Short time amount. Camacho drops down to the leg, quickly springs up to the upper half as the referee was counting on the improving of the position, and he's going to be content to sit here and ride out the period, and Camacho with a 3-0 lead.
Logan Egan is saying, I don't care if you're returning ACC champion, he's going to compete. And that's what Coach Glenn Lanner wants from his Duke wrestlers, to compete. So here we have a waterfall, and he's just going to turn in. And once he turns in, he's going to pop the head to the outside to get the double leg takedown.
I thought it was interesting what Glenn Lanham told his young freshman, Logan Egan. He said, hey, go back, put your high school singlet on. You have to do that in your mind. He felt like he was almost intimidated by the singlet in the opposite corner here at the ACC level. He says, you go out, do your thing. He was one of the best in Lancaster high school history. Was scheduled to compete in his 4th Ohio State championship until it was canceled because of the COVID. And it seems like that message has certainly been felt and heard clearly by Logan Egan after an opening round win and wrestling tough here on the ACC champ.
And the coaching staff of Duke felt that Egan could have won the Ohio State championship last year.
Camacho riding 3-0 NC State, and now a suck back. Yeah, he brought him right back down. Egan in some trouble. Camacho looking to get the Wolfpack some bonus points early.
He's going to try and go to a regular half. Now he's got to get chest to chest. That's the most important thing, chest to chest. So now he's looking at Coach. Coach, what do I do now? Coach, how do we look for bonus points? Coach, what do you think? So now it's 7-0. He's got the riding time. So he's essentially 8-1 right now. Just that moment, open it up for the Wolfpack.
Egan continues to shoot. And you brought up a good point, Rock, at the start as you watch more and more of Jacob Camacho. He's such a smart wrestler, and he just gets stronger and stronger the deeper you go into the bout. And we're seeing that now. You can bet he has one thing on his mind, and that's to try to get that additional point with 30 seconds to go. A takedown will do it. NC State trying to send an early statement in the semifinal round. Camacho's in on a shot. He is going to pop around the side, and the sophomore is through.
Looking for a bow and arrow.
Painful position underneath, the torque, the pressure. Egan able to get back to his base, at least his belly button for a moment, but that lower half still locked. And Camacho will settle for a major decision win. Jacob Camacho, the redshirt sophomore, took this championship by storm a year ago.
His chin back, boom, quick chin back, gets the allotment of 4 and open the match up, gets the final takedown to secure the bonus point victory. The Pack are moving on.
Taking care of business at 125 for North Carolina State. Jacob Camacho victorious, way of major decision. Latona and McCormick still wrestling. It's a high scoring match. Third period 11-7. Latona leads that. So it's a 125-pound championship possibly that a lot of people were looking forward to. A rematch, Jacob Camacho and Sam Latona. 133, it will be the top seed. Mickey Philippi looking for another ACC title. One of 3 top seeds for the Panthers. Louis Hayes, his opponent. Corbin Myers, the 2 seed, Virginia Tech. Joe Heilman, North Carolina. Virginia Tech, UNC. And the semis at 133.
We're going to see contrasting styles here, where you have Corbin Myers, who's quick on his finishes. And Joe Heilman likes to hold position, more of a fundamentally sound doesn't have the best of lateral motion, whereby Corbin Meyer has fantastic lateral motion.
We talked about North Carolina's depth at 74 with both Kane and Lout. Same can be said at 133. The Tar Heels had a loaded room at the start of the year. They were expecting Jamie Hernandez to be the guy. Hernandez has fought injuries this year, and Joe Heilman, the redshirt sophomore, stepped up and responded, the sophomore from South Plainfield. And Coleman Scott building depth at each weight, and that's always the first sign you go to when a program's rising. Do they have the depth to sustain and maintain success? And he's building that depth right now in Chapel Hill.
That's how you build a team. Next man up.
We're underway at 133 semifinal. Corbin Myers, the graduate student, started his career at Edinboro before making the switch to Virginia Tech, and he might be, it's safe to say, enjoying his best year ever. He has absolutely been dynamite.
Dynamite literally and figuratively. He's been exploding through the ACC tournament, and he's looked fantastic on his feet. Really crisp.
Myers is the three-time NCAA qualifier, one time as a Hokie in 2019, twice at Edinboro for the Fighting Scots before his transfer. Two-time EWL champion. What's the biggest thing you've noticed from Myers? This is a veteran wrestler who's had success. Why is he putting up the points this year?
I would say experience. It's experience and confidence. And generally when you have more experience, your confidence increases. And right now, this is the best Corbin Myers that I've seen. He's just moving well.
On our final Friday night duel with Pitt and Virginia Tech, everybody in the country was anticipating a Myers-Philippi bout. That did not pan out. Philippi was on COVID-19 protocol, and Tony Roby just gave Myers a night off, in essence, to get his body fully rested, healed, prepared, and prepped for this one-day ACC championship.
Heilman is doing a good job of holding his position. Good stance, not really falling for the ducks and the feints of Myers. And this is the kind of match that Heilman wants. A little of a grinder, I'm a hold position. Good. That's just quickness. Oh, that might be a brick there. No, he waved it off. Waved it off. But they're still wrestling here. No takedown yet. He's got to pop his head. Good fight right here. So they're going to talk about this. The officials are going to talk about this. Was there two there? Maybe they're going to go over. I'm not sure.
They initially gave two, and then they took it out. Take us through the sequence, Rock. Why the initial two, and then why wave it off?
So now it appears that Fred Majerison came over to Kevin Lynch, the head official, and said, no, I believe that was two because of the hand touch. Because of the hand touch, there is no reaction time. But he decided to say, look, I'm going to change my call for a takedown first, and now I have to find indisputable evidence to say there was no takedown. Now, if he did not call that takedown, he would have had to say, I have to see evidence of saying that there was a takedown. So he's called two. Now he has to find out reasons. There's a snap. Now he's behind him, rear standing. He fell on his head. So that's not a hand touch. So the question that they're going to look and say, look, he did not put his hand down. He kind of landed on his head. So now they have to find indisputable evidence to say that the takedown was not there. It's very important that the official had to make that call. So he's behind. There's a hand touch. Shrug. He's still on his feet. There's a hand touch. Yes, the left hand looks like the left hand did touch. Let's see that again. So it looks like right when Myers was down, look at the left hand. Looks like the left hand. So behind here, falling. He's behind. Left hand. Yep. Take down. Rear standing, left hand touch. He's behind. Now, if he was to the side, that may not have been a takedown. But if it's rear and hand touches, that's a takedown.
And, so that's indisputable evidence. Is that a good enough vantage point to overturn the call, because remember, the call on the mat was no takedown.
The call was no takedown, but before he went to the video, he put two fingers up and said, yes, there is a takedown. So now he had to find information to say that there was information to say that there is no takedown. Very, very important that the official called the takedown. At first he waved it off, but then he said, no, I'm going to call it. And now he had to find rules or something to see that said there is no takedown. It seems like every time we start off is a long video. So here, left hand touch. Right before the head came down, the left hand came through. And so that's why it's good for officials to be at 180, because on the one side where the head official is right, he doesn't see that left hand coming down, but the official at the top may have seen it. And so that's why you need to work as a team. That's why it's very important to be 180, where one official can see something, the other may see something a little differently. And from that position, let's see what the call is. So it is 2 takedown. Good mechanics there, because the one official could not see that left hand come down, but the other official that was 180 saw it and made a good call. Fred McGarrett said, let's talk about this. I saw the hand touch. And they got the right call, I believe.
We go back to action. 68 seconds to go, first period. Myers now riding for the first time. Corbin Myers, a 2-0 lead. Off to the side, the right side of the body of Heilman. Has a leg in as well. See Myers keeping the right ankle off the mat, has it latched in between his hamstring and his calf, keeping that ankle off the mat for Heilman underneath. Now Heilman able to get up momentarily to a stand-up into a brief tripod. Myers looking for the mat return, and he brings him down with authority.
Always good to end a period on top, and it appears that Corbin Myers is going to do that.
2-0, Myers will march into the second period on top, and with the NCAA eligibility rule, meaning this year all seniors, really everybody given an extra year of eligibility, the question becomes, does a guy like Corbin Myers become a 7-year wrestler, Rock? It's crazy.
I could wrestle 7 years if I wasn't losing weight, but if you got to keep your weight down, that's tough.
That is a tough grind.
Very important that Heilman has to stop the first move of Corbin Myers.
I know what you're going to say.
He put his hand to the side so the referee could see if he was locking hands, and then a little push.
That's a veteran move. That's a 6-year veteran move right there. Hey, I'm going to give you a clear sight to see if these hands are locked. Now he gets warned for caution underneath.
I believe that's the second one.
Next one will be a point for Heilman. Quick stand up by Myers. Heilman looking for the trip to bring him back down. He does. Man, just constant activity, constant motion by Corbin Myers. He's nonstop energy out there.
It's not wasting energy either. Everything he's doing is calculated.
Myers with a 3-0 lead, 30 seconds into the second period.
This is where it becomes a little challenging for Heilman, because Heilman knows he needs to create his offense, but he sees that the speed of Myers is the speed of Myers did it. No, just right there, that takedown. I'm gonna tell you what was so good about that. He saw that Heilman was about to roll through, so what he did, he pulled the ankle away, so when Heilman tried to do the roll through, So here's the reaction shot. So Hyman starts to go through a roll through, and he pulls the ankle away. The ankle is away, so therefore, when the bottom man or the other official, other wrestlers tries to roll through, there's nothing to grab because Corbin Myers kept his weight and his feet away. So right now, it's where Corbin Myers starts to see, can I create a bonus point victory? He knows that he's quicker than Hyman. Hyman knows that if I shoot, I have to worry about his counter attack.
Myers continuing to lead 5-1. We're down to 20 seconds to go in the second period. Corbin Myers has been as good as anybody. Here's a straight-on double attempt by Heilman. It is flattened out by Myers. Myers trying to swing around to the side. 10 seconds to go. Just keeps cartwheeling around the head, and Myers will get the two toward the end of the period.
It's smart wrestling, man. It's smart wrestling. He's a man on a mission. Gets shot by Hyman, and what Myers did, he's getting on his toes and keep chasing the corner, and he finally out-hustled Hyman to get the takedown to take a good lead going into the third period.
Corbin Myers left Edinburgh with a 74-34 record. He arrived in Blacksburg in 2018. Both he and former heavyweight Billy Miller making the move into Blacksburg. Head coach Tim Flynn left the job at Edinburgh, and that was part of the reason why Myers wanted a change of location. And he has developed under the tutelage of head coach Tony Roby and his staff, and it appears he has everything in line to make a real deep run at this year's Nationals.
He's also wrestled with a national four-time All-American national champion Cody Brewer, who was lightning fast when he wrestled for Oklahoma. You can see some of the mannerisms of Brewer. Look at that. He just lifted the leg and stayed in the stance.
Brewer won a national championship at Oklahoma in 2015. Man. And that was Brewer-like as he comes around for two.
Oh, my goodness.
And that was a big, and Rock, that was a big hire by Tony Roby when they brought in Cody Brewer. It's his second year, and they were needing somebody to work with the lightweights, and Brewer has just bolstered the lightweights for Virginia Tech, and you can just see the benefits exploding here with Corbin Myers.
And I tell you what, Virginia Tech probably believes that their top two wrestlers, meaning 125 and 33, is one of the best 1-2 punches in the country. You can hear them saying one more. They want that bonus point. They know that they need bonus points. It's not a good shot, but there's a chase to it. Now, at this point, can he finish here? We got short time. He goes right to the head to try and put it in a neutral danger position. Good job by Hyman to hold on. Looks like he's going to hold on to the leg, and a little disappointment by Corbin Myers. Nevertheless, he moves on to the finals.
Myers picks up the decision win. Just has a look of I mean all business. Corbin Myers. Is it a collision course with Philippi? It certainly might be. And it is. Philippi has won his match over Louis Hayes. So Philippi and Myers, we were denied this match on our final Friday night duel. We're not going to be denied it on a Sunday night in Raleigh. Part of our primetime coverage tonight on the ACC network.
Ladies and gentlemen, look forward to that match. Mickey Philippi hasn't lost to anyone in the ACC except for Corbin Myers. It's going to be fire tonight in the finals at 133.
141 pounds. The seeds hold true to form. Tariq Wilson, Cole Matthews. That should be a lot of fun. It was controversial last year when they met in the ACC championship. And then in their duel, it was a Tariq Wilson sudden victory that was able to pull off the win. We'll see what happens today. Brian Courtney, Zach Sherman, 2 versus 3 on our mat with North Carolina and Virginia. I always get the impression, Rock, when you look at Zach Sherman, I don't know if he gets the credit he deserves on the national stage. He is fundamentally sound and solid and one of the leaders for UNC.
Indeed he is. And he won an ACC championship last year, so he knows that he's a leader. Brian Courtney's had a great season. He's gotten better. And when talking to Coach Garland, he said that he's now developing into a man, meaning that he's starting to feel the strength that he's taking years to develop. Nice shrug.
Courtney is one of 3 wrestlers from the Keystone State in the lineup. In fact, he knows Pitt wrestler Cole Matthews quite well. They have a history between the two from their days in the Pennsylvania area. Here's a quick shot off the whistle, and coming in is a launch and hit for 2.
And that's what you see from UNC. They shoot doubles. Why shoot high crotches and sweep singles when you just need to get 2 legs? Similar to their head coach, Coleman Scott. He would shoot doubles, and you'll see that up and down the lineup with UNC wrestlers. They shoot doubles.
Sherman, a 2-time NCAA qualifier. He reached the NCAAs in 2018 as a true freshman, went 1-2 that year. Both he and Clay Lout were the only 2 freshmen not to redshirt that season for North Carolina.
Sherman was trying to keep the toe in to get a couple more seconds of riding time. It makes a difference. You might say that's just a step out of bounds. You never know if a second or 2 makes a difference in an extra point when a match is over.
Coleman Scott told us Zach Sherman's always asking questions. He put a ton of time in wrestling, even during the pandemic. Really disciplined with his routine and workouts. Saw him mature last year, able to figure out Tariq Wilson for the first time at the ACCs and picking up the ACC title, a season that saw him go 27-5.
First caution.
Mat return by Sherman.
Sherman's deceptively solid on top. So it appears that there was an illegal hold that happened early in the match with Brian Courtney. So you're saying, how is it 3-0 when Zach Sherman had a takedown?
Sherman was given a caution there, so he's giving a brief explanation. He wanted a quick talk with the official. He'll get back into position.
Already accumulating a riding time.
When you look at the competitive relationship with Zach Sherman of North Carolina, Tariq Wilson, NC State, it's a little bit of a different role. You know, for the first couple of matches, Wilson was the hunted while Sherman was the hunter. Now it switched a little bit. What's the difference? What's the different mindset that these athletes take when you capture that championship for the first time and now everybody is gunning for you?
Some wrestlers thrive being the top dog, so to speak. And then some don't like that. They don't like the pressure, having everybody having their A game against them. Seems like Zach Sherman enjoys being a top wrestler. But Tariq Wilson, when talking to Coach Papalizio, they said he's only beaten us one time, and that was last year's ACC championship. Tariq Wilson owns the overall match count against Zach Sherman.
One of the areas that Sherman has worked on, trying to find more ways to get turns from this top position. He's riding pretty soundly, up 3-0, over 1:40 of riding time. Courtney unable to get out from underneath. It's been a steady dose of movement up top. Matt returns, and out of bounds they go. So we've seen this where you see the quick start. Courtney trying to amp it up a little bit as he sprints back to the center.
We're working on 2 minutes of riding time, potentially.
Giving up a ton of time there.
Now you see Courtney got his hips away this time. Makes it a little more challenging for Zach Sherman to have a mat return. 2 minutes of riding time.
Finally, Courtney gets away. 3-1. Inside 10 seconds to go. Semifinal at 141 pounds.
So Zach Sherman knows the book on Brian Courtney. Brian Courtney, if you get in on one of his legs, he sits the corner and he has a sneaky cradle there. So what does Zach Sherman? He says, I'm going to shoot doubles. Because what you'll find out, there's a doubles. What you'll find out, as Coach Coleman Scott has said, you don't scramble out of doubles. Now, there are some anomalies like Jason Nolf, but for the most part, you don't scramble out of doubles. So shoot doubles so these guys don't sit to the corner and put you in cradles. Pretty critical time for Brian Courtney right now. It's 3-2. Riding time is pretty strong at this point.
In watching Courtney throughout the year and in his junior season, what's his go-to shot? Down two, you mentioned, with that riding time in essence. What's his best go-to?
That's an interesting question because Brian Courtney really doesn't have a go-to shot. He just needs to get to a leg. And once he gets to a leg, he creates action, so to speak. So he doesn't have a go-to low single, go-to sweep single, go-to double. He just wants somebody to get to a leg. And once the legs get there, he's very effective there. But what Zach Sherman's doing is just saying, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait, and when the moment presents himself, I'm going to shoot my double. And that's what Zach Sherman's starting to do. He said, look, I'm not nervous about Brian Courtney getting to my legs. I can hold my position. I know that Brian Courtney just doesn't have the shot selection from his feet. But he created a stall call and goes right back into the double.
Like we see so many times after the stall call on a wrestler, that is their ticket to fire in, and that's what Sherman did. Driving toward the boundary on the edge. Still has the leg. Sherman still with his right toe in.
Oh, so smart wrestling by Sherman. He said, this is where Courtney wanted to be. He had the one leg, and you see he was starting to sit to the corner. And once Zach said, I felt that, oh, let me get out of bounds. He does not want to be in a position where Courtney starts to sit the corner and put the cradle in. I love the chess match going on here. So Brian Courtney says, okay, I may not have the greatest shot, but I'm going to keep shooting. I'm going to try and earn another stall call. So the question
interesting now is, third period. Yeah, interesting decision here, Rock. What do you do?
I wonder if he's going to actually let him up, or is he going to try and ride and see if he can get some back points here or something? I don't know. I don't know. Now, Zach Sherman has to continue to wrestle here. He's got one stall call.
Well, it looks like the answer is he's going to try to ride. Sticks a leg in, does Courtney.
Zach Sherman has to continue to wrestle here. He can't just sit on the lead.
The riding time is in the lower left-hand corner. Courtney trying to nullify the riding time, and in order to do so, he needs to ride another 34 and counting. Leg still in. He has to do enough on top as well.
Exactly. He's going to continue to work, and Sherman has to start moving. He's got to get to his feet like he's there and continue to work here.
Sherman is up. Courtney is in a vulnerable position, still riding. Scramble as they work their momentum toward the edge. Riding time down to 4, down to 3. Courtney has wiped out the riding time. Holy smokes.
Here we go. So what do we do here? Because now Virginia is going to be all on the official to say, look, he's got to work, he's got to work, he's got to work. So Brian Courtney either has to somehow continue to keep Zach Sherman down and create a stall call, or is Zach Sherman going to get an escape? Zach Sherman has to continue to wrestle here. Oh, this is exciting.
Start off the whistle, critical. Courtney assumes position, trying to get into a stand-up with Sherman underneath. Courtney is going to cut him there. So a 4-2 lead. Courtney needs a takedown to try to maybe force an overtime.
And what Sherman has to do is just hold center. There's the double. There's the double. That's exactly what you don't scramble out of doubles. Beautiful, smart wrestling here. He's got to get across. It looks like he's going to get that takedown. Smart wrestling by the ACC returning champion. Really smart wrestling there. Smart wrestling. You shoot doubles on people that sit corners. Brian Courtney, 6 corners. How do you fight that? You shoot for 2 legs.
The ACC champion was tested. Brian Courtney had it down to 2, but Sherman prevails and moves into the finals again.
Well wrestled match by both wrestlers. Zach Sherman goes for the doubles. You don't scram out doubles. He stays on 2 legs. He does not let go and go to a single. Because of that, he's able to work around and get the takedown. Really strategically well wrestled match by Zach Sherman. And it looks like we're going to have a rematch between Zach Sherman and Tariq Wilson in the finals at 141.
Wilson and Matthews in the semifinals. Sherman wins 6-2 for North Carolina. The Tar Heels looking to repeat at 141.
And it looks like Wilson did beat Matthews.
Tariq Wilson remains perfect with the win over Matthews. Wilson Sherman, the title at 141 tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern on the ACC Network. 149 pounds is where we go to next, and one of the best wrestlers in the land, Austin O'Connor. Many have him penciled in as an NCAA champion. Will he bring the title back to Chapel Hill? First things first, he needs to bring home the ACC hardware. It's O'Connor and Fine Silver. We dial into one of the more exciting wrestlers in the conference, Bryce Andonian, Virginia Tech, the young freshman Ed Scott, North Carolina State.
I'm looking forward to this match because Coach Popolizio said he's letting Ed Scott wrestle. What does that mean? He said they didn't do a little too much scouting, saying, look, watch out for this. So now he's like, you know what, Ed, do what you do. You were a pinner in high school. Go out there and wrestle. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, do not look away. If you look away, someone might be thrown. Pay attention because these guys like to create the upper body action.
Scott's a freshman out of Pennsylvania. It's a deep weight. When you look at all the new talent coming in for NC State in future years. Grew up in central Pennsylvania, and right off the whistle, here comes Mr. Highlight Reel, Bryce Andonian.
Drive right through the double. He must have watched Zach Sherman and said, doubles work.
Sticks in the half. Andonian, 15 seconds in, a 2-0 lead. And they will go out of bounds. Bryce Andonian, the runner-up from a year ago at 149, the NCAA qualifier.
Look at this, off the whistle. Lower my level, drive through, head right in the chest. Look, when you put the head in the chest, the other wrestler doesn't know where to turn your hips because the head is right in the sternum. When you put your head to the side on a double, they know what hip needs to go down. But when you put the head right in the chest, they don't know whatever side to put their hip down.
See if Scott can get some traction. He comes in, counter shot, still front headlock control by Andonian, circling. Bryce Andonian, off that strong runner-up performance a year ago. He's added a lot to his arsenal. He's added a pretty good top game. He can ride. He's added some turns as well. Scott comes in on a shot of his own. Scramble sequence. Andonian turns, faces, and rolls Scott over to his back for a moment.
Oh, that's awesome. These guys are going at it. This is what I'm talking about. We're wrestling here. A little club there, a little physical action. Virginia Tech, NC State, they don't like each other. Here we go. Here we go. It was just a matter of time. You knew that somebody was going to get thrown.
Two more for Andonian, 6-2. Trying to crank a leg in, riding on top, a position he's worked on a lot in the offseason. We knew he could throw. We knew he was exceptional on his feet. He has showed the ability to put opponents on their backs quite frequently. Remember, he's only a sophomore. Kirtland, Ohio, St. Edward powerhouse.
You don't know what happens in the minds of freshmen at this point. You know, it came out, it looks like Andonian is being a dominant. Is he going to get some strength and saying like, look, I need to shake this off, or is he going to crack and falter? We don't know. This is where you find out about your freshmen in these moments.
Trying to hook up a cradle possibly near the edge. Near side cradle for Andonian. Does he have enough room?
Oh my.
Almost, but Scott's head slipped free. Andonian dictating the action with his right foot, and out of bounds they go.
Was that an escape?
Two officials will come together.
About that escape there. That might have been important if he got that escape there. So here it is. They go up the body. Here we go. There's a shot, step over, just funk going on. I don't know what's happening, but they're wrestling here. And somehow Bryce Andonian comes out on top, almost gets some near fall points. So a brick is being thrown. The brick is being thrown by Virginia Tech. Now, I'm not sure what the brick was for. Because Bryce Andonian is up 6-2, unless they awarded the escape to Ed Scott to make it 6-3. But I saw a brick in Patrick Frank, the referee, and they're going to talk about it. So I'm not sure what. I didn't see why there was a brick. But I think they may have thrown a brick, but I think the official said, yeah, you keep your brick, coach. We're going to review it. So a coach can throw a brick, but the referees can say, you know what, it's going to be our. So this might be it, the escape scenario here. So we got the cradle goes on for a little bit, but towards the end of the period, it looks like Scott may have separated to get what's called a loss of control. And that's what they're looking at this point. Was their loss of control? Was one of the two wrestlers in bounds when the loss of control occurred? That's very important. Who was in bounds when the loss of control? So the right foot of Andonian still in, so they're still wrestling. Is there loss of control? That right leg. Can we slow that down just a little bit? Because it looks like perhaps the right leg of Andonian came out as well. I just couldn't tell there. So it appears that no points were awarded. Well, there was a point awarded. So yes, there was an out of bounds, a 1 point given to Ed Scott. Pretty important for the end of the period to score. Good job by the freshman to keep wrestling. Don't just give up at the end of the period. Continue to wrestle. He's still in this match. Ed Scott can throw. Here we go. Someone's about to throw. Here it is. Bear hug, bear hug, bear hug, bear hug, bear hug. Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you somebody is going to end up in a throwing position. See, the reason why Andonian feels comfortable is because he's generally a little taller than wrestlers. But Ed Scott is pretty strong. You got to be careful. Somebody may give up a big move.
Scott draped off to the right side of the body of Andonian into a tripod. Now he drops back down to one knee. 6'3" Andonian putting up 6 points in the opening 3 minutes. Scott, though, getting back on the tracks a little bit here. Ed Scott will lift, elevate, return. Andonian, though, springing right back up. He's curling his way out of trouble. Has that leg in a vulnerable position. Talking about Andonian's leg. Can't really be
dangerous.
Yep, can't be extended anymore. The referee watching that closely. Here's that funk you were talking about. And usually when it's funk, it's 2 for Andonian.
Patience, knowing your body, not getting nervous, not panicking.
How do you prep for this guy? If you're an opponent at Nationals getting ready to face Bryce Andonian, how do you prepare a wrestler for what they're going to see?
I tell you exactly what you do. You look to see what Austin O'Connor did. What Austin O'Connor did is what you need to do.
He makes it look easy, though. That's a guy that, I don't know if you're going to compare apples to apples. But you're right. Austin O'Connor, he is, he was one of those guys last year that a lot of people circled that thought was going to win a national title, did not get a chance. He will this season. 8-3 Andonian, continuing to ride, has 1:46 of riding time, 28 seconds to go in the period. Scott underneath, looks for a switch. That wasn't there. And you can tell when he looked for that switch, when he saw it wasn't there, he was quickly right back to his base because he knows a split second he could give up some points, and he gets the 2 here on the reversal. Back into it.
We got a good one here. Don't count out Ed Scott. He can throw. He'll do an underhook, lock at the back of the neck, and turn his hips either left or right. So here's a position, just patience by Andonian, not panicking, knowing his body, knowing what he has to do, gets the reversal. And here's Scott at the end of the period, working to get the last reversal. Hey, we got a dandy. Don't count out Ed Scott.
Andonian back into position riding. Approaching 2 minutes of riding time. Solid return brings Scott back down. Scott, left arm being extended out. Wrist control, Andonian. And Andonian rolling around. And he had 2 swipes and the 1 escape. So Scott gets the point, 8-6.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I can't wait.
And you're right with Scott. Even though he's literally trailing 3 when you factor in riding time, he is a big throw type of guy. So to get 2 and then near fall points, certainly not out of the equation. 1:16 is an eternity of time when you look at Ed Scott.
This is where Coach Roby says we need Bryce Andonian to wrestle fundamentally well. You want Bryce to go back to what he learned when he was a young kid, fundamental defense. Here, now watch, he's going to lock at the back of the head. There it is. Watch it, watch it. Just like that. We said he's going to underhook, lock the back of the head. And Bryce Andonian had to sag his hips. Ladies and gentlemen, something is about to happen here.
Can Scott get into that tie-up again with the over-under? He drops in low on the leg.
Watch him roll.
And Donian trying to keep his other leg away. Still has the head. Scott still has the ankle and heel. Lost his headgear in the process. Really stretching out Andonian. Andonian with a flip. Again avoids the two. Coming around the backside is Scott. Whizzer being applied by Andonian. What action in this third period.
Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable.
Get out of here. Oh, these guys are going at it. Oh, I love it. Just excellent wrestling by both guys. Great television here. Thank you, Bryce Andonian. Thank you, Ed Scott. Good wrestling.
And it's Andonian with riding time, 11-6, Virginia Tech.
Great match. Good guys. I can't wait for the years that these guys continue to go at it.
Austin O'Connor, no surprise, he's into the finals. Bryce Andonian puts up 11, no surprise. High-scoring offense mounted by the sophomore. The ACC runner-up from a year ago. It's O'Connor and Andonian in 2021 for the title at 149. £157, Hayden Hidley, the top-seeded wrestler, NC State. Josh McClure, the fifth-year senior, North Carolina. Our match will be Justin McCoy. Our first look at the Cavalier. McCoy, the 2-seed. Connor Brady, who received a forfeit win earlier, did not have to wrestle. So situation here, Rock, where both of these guys are fresh. And like we've seen so many times from Virginia, they love to work off that Russian tie. McCoy had the arm for a moment.
These guys are evenly matched. Connor Brady has gotten better since his tough first weekend, and Justin McCoy has been consistent all year. We got Ohio and Pennsylvania wrestling, two of the top prep states rather, in the country.
And Virginia Tech has built a real nice pipeline as McCoy submarines his way in. Whizzer applied by Brady, trying to corral this attack, but it's deep by McCoy, the Cavalier.
Patience on both parts. Oh, nice. Soon as he got into that sweep single, he started to pull away. When you start to pull away, you eliminate what's called the funk roller or passing the leg. And that's good, smart wrestling by McCoy. Sweep single and started to move away from the action.
Justin McCoy, redshirt sophomore. New Paris, Pennsylvania, attended high school at Chestnut Ridge. He was an NCAA qualifier a year ago, made it to the third place match. He went 18-13. Appears to have things figured out this season. Red hot entering the ACCs. He's won 4 consecutive matches in the duels since dropping his opener. So athletic, really starting to figure out his body and put it all together in a sophomore campaign. These Cavalier wrestlers, you know, watching their body language and just watching them off the mat, they really take on the character of their head coach, don't they, Steve Carlin?
And what a character that is. Perhaps some back points here. Brady's doing a good job of holding the leg. Now he's going to try and spin around. Oh, good funk wrestling here. Now, that is not a drop down because the natural flow of wrestling got McCoy to that situation where he's holding the leg. So he's holding the leg right here, and Connor Brady is going to continue to push his hips away. Gets the escape.
Brady trying to get to his underhook. McCoy squeezing the elbow, keeping the hand away. Final few seconds of this first period. McCoy had the early two. Brady with the escape. That's been it here in this first period. Inadvertent poke to the eye as Connor Brady took it in the left eye. Inadvertent shot there by Justin McCoy. Little hand fighting, that'll happen. First period coming to an end. Brady's going to try to clear the cobwebs from that finger into the eye. That's what he'll use the intermission between periods for. Connor Brady started the season not the way you want to as a freshman coming in. He had just had a bad opening weekend against Campbell, but he bounced back in the West Virginia Triangular, and Tony Roby has been happy with his ascent ever since that opening weekend. You know, you go through the season as a freshman, it's a roller coaster. You know this as well as anybody, Rock. It's an emotional whirlwind of up and downs, and they really feel Brady's getting things figured out.
And it's the right time to get things figured out towards the end of the season. You want to have momentum.
Brady was a big-time recruit, three-time state place winner in Ohio. 132, 152, and then 160.
Nice.
He comes in for two.
Oh, that was nice. Did an underhook and threw it by, not for one leg, but for both legs. That was really, really good. That was a sweet shot.
These two met earlier in the duels, one by McCoy, but Brady wrestled pretty well. He had some opportunities. They thought, being Virginia Tech coaches, thought they left some points on the table. Scramble. McCoy, two as he comes out on top from underneath.
Man, these guys are wrestling. I know I said, Sean, I love this wrestling thing, man. These guys are just going at it. Conference championship, semifinals, putting it out there, wrestling smart.
.44. McCoy close to eclipsing the 1 minute mark. There it is. And just as he did, Brady was able to get away. Connor Brady with the escape. 5-4 Virginia Tech. Inside a minute to go, period two. Semifinal, 157.
Let's see if Connor Brady goes back to that underhook.
Couple of bluff shots, one by Brady, one by McCoy, changing levels. There you go. Brady slipping in, trying to slip in, his right arm underhook, left side of the body of McCoy. McCoy steers that ship, says no thank you, don't want any part of that. Brady submarines in on a low strike and on the crotch area. Weight being applied in the hips by McCoy. 5 seconds to go. Both wrestlers contend in this position. And we go to the third period. McCoy with the riding time. Brady with the point advantage.
Let's see what McCoy takes. Does he take bottom? He's got riding time, or does he just take defeat? The question is he going to get out in 3 seconds? The reason why I said it, I wonder because if he gets out, it's 5-5 and he may have lost riding time. If he stays on his feet, it's still 5-5 because he would have kept the riding time. So that's why I wondered, which doesn't make sense. I mean, why work to get out of bottom when you already have the riding time and you need to get to your feet anyway?
So do you like this decision?
I'm not going to question the coach. There's another caution.
That's two. Brady knows. He knows what's the riding time sits at. And and he's going to wipe it out. So Brady does his job. McCoy gets away.
And that's why
and we start over.
You know, I'm not saying it was a wrong decision, but I mean, you just exerted extra energy to get out. So it's still 5-5. You stayed on your feet. It would have been 5-5, but you went, ooh, submarine again. Good aim. Good head fight. He's going to run the pipe to a double leg takedown. Went to a single, ran the pipe, switched to a double.
Now he can work on top a little bit. He had both legs trapped underneath, almost a scissors type. He leads 7-5. Brady's able to get the lower half clear. McCoy drops to the tight waist, has the wrist as well. Brady trying to get a fresh start. Get out of bounds and back into the center of the referee position, and that's exactly what he will get. But now down, in essence, 3.
Right back to the double, then it goes to a single. He starts to run the pipe and then finishes off on a double. Lower it, double. When you run the pipe or you lower it down, as you're bringing the leg down, it becomes easier to grab the double.
Inside a minute to go, third period, and Brady out of bounds.
Pretty important here that Brady has to get out. If he's held down for a little while longer, riding time will be secured. He's got to move quickly.
A real quick start underneath.
So riding time is now secured.
It's locked. And Brady close to coming out. He is. He's away. And then he comes right in on a shot. Brady looking for some activity near the edge, switching to a double, but he runs out of real estate, and the challenge brick comes in from the Virginia Tech corner.
They're looking to say that that was a reversal. So at this point, we'll see it on replay. They're looking by the independent reviewer. Because this was a brick, no longer do the officials look to see and question their call. It's headed off to the independent reviewer, so the official doesn't have to question their call, because officials, they want to be confident in their calls. But by being an independent reviewer, it takes the pressure off the officials. So now the independent reviewer is now going to look to say, was that in fact a reversal? So here we go. A little roll through, a little action here. We got one escape. So now one escape looking for a takedown. Is that a takedown? Now, the question is, I didn't see it alone. Was that a hand touch? But I think they were still on the mat. If they're on the mat, then it's not a standing. By being on the mat, you have reaction time. So if he was standing and they hadn't touched, there is no reaction time. But on the mat, that could be considered reaction time. And that's what the independent reviewer is looking. None. The reason why is because when it's a hand touch, it has to be a standing rear. But on the mat, they were moving, you have reaction time. And at that point, they felt that reaction time was not enough to give the takedown to Connor Brady.
So with that, Brady now needs a takedown to force overtime. McCoy with riding time locked.
And this is where your wrestling IQ comes in, where McCoy has to just do enough to stay away. He's got enough time. Doesn't have to worry about a stall. Very
desperation moments from Connor Brady, and he will not have any lane to check in and get that last two. And Virginia having a solid day today. The Cavaliers with a finalist, Justin McCoy, into the finals for the first time in his career. A third place match a season ago. His improvement continues under Steve Garland, and standing in his way, well, the ACC's active wins leader as far as consecutive wins go. Hayden Idley has won 28 straight. We'll see if McCoy can slow him down. Camacho set the tone. The action has been fast and furious from Raleigh. We come back, it's 165.
Steve Garland moved into the dorms for 8 days, I believe, and probably wasn't easy for a guy with some young kids, but he felt it was important to be there with his guys if he was going to hold them on campus.
Not bad work here from McCormick. Need to give him some love. Comes in 5-4, 2-2 in duels, 1-2 in the ACC, and he's cut the lead in half. It's 10-5.
Yeah, even if he doesn't win this match, that's got to be a huge confidence boost for him to take down a guy like Sam Latona. We've talked about his length. He's not an easy guy to score on.
Virginia, a bit of a dark horse. The initial coaches' rankings released by the NCAA had the Cavaliers ranked in 8 of 10 weight classes, with only 125 and 149 not represented in the rankings.
And Patrick McCormick trying to prove his worth here and battle for one of the 3 automatic qualifying bids to NCAAs at this weight class. Doing a great job of down blocking and preventing those shots from scoring. Patrick McCormick's got some momentum building.
He really does. Not much time left, but 11-7. And at 125, 3 NCAA qualifiers. So even if McCormick loses, and it looks like he may here, he could make some noise down in the consolation bracket.
Yeah, that's always the key, especially for a team like Virginia, to rocket up the team race. You got to have guys outperform their seeds. Patrick McCormick, with these 2 third-period takedowns, looks like he's a guy who could do just that.
And I do feel like Coach Roby will be happy with the victory, but he may want to talk to Sam Latona, or perhaps maybe this was part of the plan. Sam, take your time, do what you got to do, get the victory, and that's exactly what he's done.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a bad win in a tournament. You know, you might have expected coming in bonus points for Sam Latona, but Patrick McCormick's a tough dude. And those 2 takedowns in the third period, I think, are going to be key for him going forward.
All right, let's take a look at the bracket at 133. We're expected to have the standout from Pittsburgh take on Louis Hayes, who certainly has battled with McCormick in practice. You see Joe Heilman and Corbin Myers also in the semifinals. Tell us about this very special Pittsburgh wrestler.
Yeah, Mickey Philippi is one of the best guys in the country at 133 pounds. It's a loaded weight nationally, but he is right there with everybody. He's a guy that was 1 win away from being an All-American at the 2019 NCAA Championships. Obviously, he didn't get to wrestle in the 2020 NCAA Championships. Nobody did, but he's a guy who's got as good of a chance as any to climb that podium and finish very high in St. Louis.
Mickey's already won 2 ACC titles, and a couple years ago in Blacksburg was named the ACC Outstanding Wrestler. And here we go. Louis Hayes, one of those wrestlers, and you know what I mean by this, feels like he's been around forever. And of course now with the changes because of COVID, he could, I think, stay even longer. I'm not sure about that, Ryan. Can he come back again?
He can come back. We don't know whether he will or not. Steve Garland didn't sound like he had final answers on Louis Hayes, but I tell you, this is a guy, he had his best match of the year against Mickey Philippi in the duel. It was a close one, 4-3 win for Philippi. This is one of the best semifinals in the entire tournament.
So Philippi and Hayes. Hayes had 3 wins by pin this year, a tech fall and a major decision in his 6-0 start to his redshirt senior campaign.
I tell you, Steve Garland was also very high on Mickey Philippi. When Rock Harrison asked who's your favorite non-Virginia wrestler, he named 2 guys from Pitt. One of them was Mickey Philippi. Nino Bonacorsi was the other, but lots of respect from Steve Garland towards this Pitt standout. And of course, it's worth noting Mickey Philippi began his college career at Virginia. So no hard feelings there from the coaching staff towards him, transferring a little closer to home.
Yeah, excellent point. I thought that was really respectful of Garland to mention an athlete that was with him that is now a foe against him, but still recognizing what he's done for the sport. And is a back-to-back ACC champion. Nice tip of the hat from Coach Garland. Hayes, I mentioned McCormick. How about Hayes and Mueller in practice for the last several years? How about that battle?
Yeah, I would have paid to have seen that. I mean, those guys split 25 for a while even.
Right.
Going back and forth, but Philippi strikes first and completes that takedown.
So Philippi, a perfect 7-0, 95-16 in his amazing career as he gets on the board with this move.
Yeah, he kept digging for that trip, eventually gets it, secures the 2 on the edge of the mat. 2-0 lead for Philippi. Hayes right out.
So the credentials on Philippi, and I already talked about the fact that Hayes, one of those wrestlers, it feels like he's been around forever. The thing that I admire most about Hayes, and I get it, you're a wrestler, you're tough, but he really is a no-fear wrestler. He doesn't care if you're number 1 in the country or number 100 in the country. He really has no fear.
Yeah, and Hayes is a guy just like his opponent here. He was a former round of 12 wrestler. He lost in a blood round way back in 2018 at 125 pounds. Anybody that can do that has the potential to beat just about anybody in the country.
You see the accolades, 2-time NCAA qualifier for Hayes, a Commerce major, and more impressive than the wins are the 20 pins and the 12 tech falls. He goes for the jugular.
Yeah, that's impressive numbers there. No doubt about it. I mean, that's tough to do. Those bonus point matches are always big.
His opponent, Louis Hayes, placed third at 133 a year ago in this event. He was also a 2018 ACC runner-up at 125 pounds before making it all the way to the quarterfinals of the NCAA Wrestling Championship.
And Hayes is right in his face the whole time, not giving him any breaks.
Hayes, the redshirt senior, improved at 83 earlier today.
Big time semifinal matchup here at 133. 4 NCAA qualifiers, and because of that, I feel pretty good about where Hayes sits, even if he can't knock off the standout from Pitt.
Yeah, that first round win he had over Jarrett Trombley was huge for his NCAA chances. That was going to be a close one coming in, that 4-5 matchup, and he was able to pull out a 4-1 victory.
Louis Hayes 4, Jarrett Trombley, the 5 seed from NC State, with 1.
Nice shot.
Textbook, right?
Phenomenal. A great low single. Got 2 hands on it. Now he's looking for that trip again. He's going to have to bring him back towards the center.
Ooh, and that twist right there brings Hayes down, so didn't even need to get him to the center. Got those 2 points in the final seconds with that twist. See it?
Yeah, that was a great little finish. A little unorthodox, but it got the job done. Great job from Philippi.
So Hayes will start down here in the final period, facing a 2-time ACC champion with that 2 times to the NCAA, and of course an All-American, and pretty smart too, Ryan. Academically similar to your career.
Yeah, I didn't quite have that much wrestling success or academic success as that young man.
While they start the third period of Madeline 2, where Mickey Philippi of Pittsburgh now.
Hayes was hit for a caution there, just 1 though. And he needs to watch his back here.
Yeah, good job getting out of that. Tremendous scramble there from Hayes, right?
Yeah, that was a great little scramble. He was put in danger, ends up using it to escape.
Surrenders the escape to Hayes and they're back to neutral. 5-2 Philippines. Corbin Myers of Virginia Tech, 2-0 lead over North Carolina's Joe.
Hayes could go. Oh, I thought he was going to try for a big move there.
Myers choosing down for the Hokies. Call back.
Filippi's got that leg slid in. And that's going to be the 2.
Advantages Philippines with the takedown of 7-2. The leader leads on that 2. Back on that number 1, Corbin Myers, the 2 seed from Virginia Tech. Graduate student out of Carlisle, Pennsylvania.
7-2.
Enters this year's championship 6-0 in the regular season, 3-0 in the ACC.
Keith Gavin not always in the corner, as sometimes he'll lean on his very accomplished coaching staff. Jordan Lean, the associate head coach, who is from Cornell. Drew Headley, 7th season from Pitt. And they also have Luke Pletcher, 1st season from the Ohio State Buckeyes, on the coaching staff.
Hayes gets an escape there. But he's going to have to come back center and look for something big given this deficit.
Career high 17-17 with Carolina.
Filippi might be the one going big here.
He did go big. He denied the shot and then got 2 points out of it.
If you're Pitt, you really got to like how he's come out in this match and dominated after a close regular season decision.
And it wasn't like he got a second-rate effort either from Louis Hayes. Louis brought some heat, but Felipe was ready.
Yeah, like I said, he is one of the best guys in the country at this weight class. Really proved it there. Louis Hayes, no slouch. Mickey Philippi coming out with a pretty dominant decision.
Sean Kenny and Rock Harrison kind enough to let us peek in over on mat 1 before we move up a weight class to 141. Congratulations to Mr. Myers for moving on. Now we move on to the 141-pound semifinals, and we'll see Tariq Wilson, the number 1 seed, take on Cole Matthews, the number 4 seed. As we dive deeper into Tariq Wilson, I really believe, Ryan Tice, this is his time. He needs to win this ACC tournament to make a statement for what he means to NC State and also make a statement to the NCAA.
You are exactly right about that. This is a guy that was 3rd in the country at the NCAA championships as a redshirt freshman. Has not won an ACC title yet, though. And not to look ahead too far, but we might see a rematch of last year's awesome ACC finals match between him and Zach Sherman. But he's got a tough test here in the semifinals.
They'll take on Cole Matthews, who won a 3-2 tiebreaker to move on to take on Wilson. What can you tell me about those two during the regular season?
They went to overtime this regular season, 7-5 win for Tariq Wilson. Last year they matched up 3 times. Twice it was a 1-point match, so I've got a feeling this is going to be a close one.
Clock issue here. 2-time All-American is Tariq Wilson. Honorable mention selection as well. And how about Cole Matthews, the redshirt sophomore? Qualified for the NCAAs, placed 3rd a year ago at the ACC championships held in Pittsburgh.
0 for 4 against Wilson in his career, but like I mentioned, some of those have been tight.
Tariq Wilson, 27-10 in 2018, 17-5 in 19, 24-6 last year, a perfect 7-0 this year.
Yeah, you talk to head coach Pat Papalizio. He says Tariq Wilson is the best we've ever seen him mentally. It's very similar to when he went on that run at the NCAA championships as a redshirt freshman. And he's key for NC State. If they want to go claim a trophy at the NCAA championships, they're really going to need an outstanding effort from him.
In his career, Wilson with 11 tech falls, 20 majors, 5 pins. He has only been pinned one time in his career. He's only been tech falled one time, and he's only been majored one time. So you add that all up, 36-3 in those important point categories.
Yeah, when there's bonus points, they're normally going the way of Tariq Wilson.
He went 1-2 this year against ranked competition during the regular season.
It's interesting how him and Matthews have had 2-1 matches, and they've had 10-9 matches. And right now it's looking like it's going to be on the lower scoring side of things.
First 2 years, Tariq Wilson was at 133. This is his second year at 141. That was right around where you were in the 133s. Talk about that jump up to 141 the last 2 years for Tariq Wilson.
Yeah, for a guy like me, it was a huge jump. For a guy like Tariq Wilson, with as long as he is, I don't think it was I really feel like it was inevitable for him because he's just so long. I could never believe that Tariq Wilson could ever make 133 pounds.
Not a ton of action here. Semifinals, 141. 3 automatic qualifiers to the NCAAs from the ACC at 141. There it is. There's some action. Quick shot, and then Matthews in a little bit of trouble. Tries to get out of it, but on the board is Wilson.
Yeah, it looked like to me that the referee did the danger count there. He got to 3, and that secured the takedown for Tariq Wilson. You see the green bricks out there. Pitt is going to challenge this takedown call.
Before we take a look at it, do you have any take on what they might find here, or even better, Ryan, what are they challenging? I guess the 2 for the takedown?
Yeah, they're challenging the takedown here. Like I said, the referee started doing the danger count when Cole Matthews' back was exposed. I saw him get to 3 swipes. We'll see if that holds up upon review.
Now 19-13, his career mark with the Panthers.
But that was a phenomenal shot from Tariq Wilson. Cole Matthews creates a scramble off of it. I can't wait to see this replay to see what happens. Right here, you see the ref start counting. Right there, that's the danger count. 1, 2, and 3. I have a hard time seeing that one being overturned. I know we're looking at it a little bit slow motion here, but those were 3 counts, 3 danger counts from the referee.
You saw the shoe over the head there of Matthews. As they went over to the table, it was so good to see Brandon Neff, who has done an amazing job for the last several years for the ACC, making wrestling a big event in the conference. And then, of course, in conjunction with the ACC Network, Friday Night Lights. ACC wrestling is a big deal as the call on the mat stands. From Friday Night Lights to the ACC tournament, the little extra pizzazz that Brandon Neff would normally bring. A little different this year because of the COVID, but it's a big deal.
No doubt about it. The ACC has become one of the best wrestling conferences in the country, and they've done a great job showcasing it.
Matthews tries to spin out, but Wilson was ready for it. So through 1, it's the number 1 seed, Wilson 2. Matthews, your 4 seed from Pitt, 0.
And that takedown is huge because it came at the end of the period. Matthews was not able to escape. That gives Tariq Wilson a 2-0 lead. We'll see, with as close as we expect this one to be, that could be the deciding factor.
Keep in mind, Pitt is a team that beat number 7 Virginia Tech as Wilson gets more points and then rolls out of bounds.
Quick reversal there for Tariq Wilson. Does a great job. Switches it up. gets around, and that's 2 right there.
Remember, the ACC will get 33 NCAA qualifying spots, but they'll also get some additional at-large berths that'll be announced later. They have 4 at 133, 4 at 157, and 4 at 285. In the 141 category, just 3, as Wilson continues to have control of Matthews.
And I think this is a weight where the ACC will definitely be in contention for wild cards. And I might even go out on enough of a limb to say they should definitely get at least one of the wild cards. This weight is deep.
It is deep, and we'll certainly pay attention to that when the final selections are announced. .112 remaining here in the second, and there's the first point for Matthews.
1 point on the Panther escape for Cole Matthews. Back to neutral with Wilson.
Tariq Wilson looking great early on. Takedown in the first, reversal in the second. Of course, the NCAA championships coming up in St. Louis in March. Can't wait for those. Gonna see a lot of ACC flavor going for the big titles there.
The pit bench barking out the time to Matthews, and he's got 20 seconds to add to his 1 point. He trails by 3 here with 15 remaining in the second.
And I can tell you that loud clap there was coming from Pat Papalizio. Can always know that clap. He's got to be very pleased with how Tariq Wilson has looked through these first 2 periods. Adam Hall in the corner for Tariq Wilson.
Matthews will start down here for the third and final period here with Wilson leading 4-1. Wilson, one of several ranked wrestlers for NC State. There's Pat Papalizio in his 9th season. He did say he was going to shave his beard for the ACC championships, and he indeed did.
No one had a better quarantine beard than Pat Papalizio, though. That thing was impressive.
It's hard not to be impressed with Pat Papalizio. He's a big guy, wrestling, machismo, I get it. But when you talk to him, he looks you in the eye. He's got time for you all day, Ryan.
No doubt. I've taken up many of his days talking wrestling with him.
So with that escape, Matthews slipping out of the grasp of Wilson, 4-2. Wilson looks to me to just be managing this one right now, right? Looking for a spot in tonight's finals that you can find at 7 o'clock on ACC Network.
Yeah, and Wilson's going to have to be careful that he doesn't get hit for stalling. I love what he did right there. Be the one that shoots so the ref can't hit you for stalling.
It's a 2-point lead.
Routing time point almost locked up for Tariq Wilson, so that would essentially make it 5-2. That means a takedown would not force us into overtime. There's one stalling call against Tariq Wilson.
That was merited.
And Pat Papalizio not happy with that call. Sounded like some jawing between the coaches. Corners over there.
That's not the first time that's happened.
Won't be the last either.
Wilson comes out off of that stalling call and immediately gets into action.
Yep. The riding time point is now locked, so it says 4-2. It is 5-2 essentially. Cole Matthews can't take that down under a minute.
So Tariq Wilson looking like he will have some time off, rest up, and get ready for the finals tonight as Wilson adds 2 more points. Tariq Wilson, your number 1 seed, trying to get that elusive ACC title, and he's punched his ticket to the finals, perhaps with a rematch with Zach Sherman, who beat him last year. And Pat Papalizio sees his man Tariq Wilson take this one, including the riding time point. Tariq Wilson wins it.
I thought Tariq Wilson looked excellent in that match. Remember, Cole Matthews has given him problems in the past, but a first period takedown, a reversal in the second, and then he ices it with another takedown in the third, plus the riding time point. Tariq Wilson is into the ACC finals.
So Tariq Wilson comes in with big numbers, but when we move to 149, AOC, Austin O'Connor, number 1 seed, considered to be a viable candidate to win an NCAA championship, will take on Josh Feinsilver, who, by the way, won his match against Denton Spencer by a score of 20-6. In the other semifinal, it's your 2 seed Bryce Andonian against your 3 seed Ed Scott. And I also need to point out 3 qualified from 149, Ryan.
Yeah, 3 NCAA automatic bids at this weight class for the ACC, but I cannot wait for this one. Josh Feinsilver with a big-time victory in the first round, coming in against Austin O'Connor, a guy that if you're asking me right now who wins the NCAA championship at a 149, he would be my pick, and I think he would be the pick of a lot of people.
30-1 since the start of last season. 2018 Junior Pan Am champion at 70 kilograms. Austin O'Connor, the man in your screen, on pace to potentially be the most winning wrestler in UNC history. His family is there. His father Mike and his sister Chloe did get tickets to Reynolds. And Austin O'Connor ready to take on one of the Feinsilvers. Of course, 4 Feinsilvers have spent time at Duke, and I will miss when all the Feinsilvers are gone, because really you think about the 4 Feinsilvers, they changed the dynamic. Last year, I don't think there were any, and Duke struggled. This year, I believe it's just Josh, and that's been part of their struggle as well, right, for Duke?
Yeah, Matt Feinsilver out for the year. He would have been at 174 and really would have been an All-America contender at 174. Had a knee injury that's taken him out of action right now, unfortunately.
Everything is Feinsilver as you see the numbers right there. Zach, Mitch, Matt, and Josh, 2 sets of twins. Incredible family out of the Denver area. Their dad, a big-time coach, big-time football coach. As you see, Josh Feinsilver leads his Duke team in dual wins.
One of the things to watch here, when we talked to Coleman Scott earlier this week, he said Austin O'Connor has to start fast. He said that was a key. He's really gotten a lot better on offense, attacking and finishing, but he likes to see him start quickly.
O'Connor with a major 16-4 over Jimmy Hoffman from Lehigh in their last match on February 6th. Prior to that, he pinned Tyler Kemmerer from Pitt in just 4 minutes and 15 seconds.
You mentioned we asked about who was every coach's favorite ACC wrestler not on their team. NC State fans might not like this very much, but Pat Papalizio named this Tar Heel Austin O'Connor as his favorite non-Wolfpack wrestler.
64-7 career record for Austin O'Connor. Perfect this year.
And not only is he perfect this year, he has been putting up bonus points on ACC opponents.
So why is that? What makes Austin O'Connor such a dominant wrestler?
Well, he's really gotten very good at finishing his attacks. He attacks a lot, and he's now the guy that can finish them against anybody in the country. And he's a guy that would have possibly won the NCAA championship last year at this weight class if they had held the NCAAs.
Give Feinsilver credit, through one at zeros against a man many think can win an NCAA title. Let's dive deeper into AOC from Lockport, Illinois, two-time All-American and was the number 2 seed a year ago, as you said, unable to compete in that. So he's certainly looking forward to being in St. Louis.
Yeah, the last time we had an NCAA championships, he finished 3rd. Only one loss in that tournament and had a great rivalry with the other Feinsilver, Mitch.
Shot coming from O'Connor. Riding the ankle of Feinsilver, and there's the first 2 points. It's 2-1.
O'Connor, a redshirt junior from Lockport, Illinois, 6-0 in the regular season, 4-0 in the ACC. Number 1 in the country by Intermat at 149 pounds. With a career mark with the Tar Heels.
Releasing Feinsilver.
This year, he's got 2 falls and 3 major decisions with the Tar Heels.
What do you make from O'Connor's approach so far?
I think Feinsilver's been a gamer, so that's part of it. But here we go. O'Connor doing what he does. He's very close to a takedown here.
You know what? That is what he does. He'll take a shot and turn it into points.
Yeah, he's so good in every position. There are not a lot of holes in Austin O'Connor's game. Great little job right there. Feinsilver looked like he could break away, stand up, and O'Connor just gets him back down on the mat.
So Feinsilver, for me, is an interesting case as you think about the AQs and then the wild cards. Does Josh Feinsilver have enough on his resume to be a wild card at 149? That's my question.
If he finishes in 4th place at this tournament, I think he's got a strong case. He is a former 2-time NCAA qualifier. He's done it at different weights. Not a ton of action this year, only 5 matches coming in, but I think he's got a very strong case for one of those wild cards if he finishes in 4th.
Let's take a look at the case for Feinsilver. This time without his 3 brothers on there. Finished 3rd at 2019 ACC Championship. Took that red shirt, and you see he leads the team with 45 career wins. I feel the same as you. I think a 4th place finish does get him in, which will continue the tradition of a Feinsilver, right, or 2 at the NCAA tournament.
That's right. It wouldn't be the NCAAs without a Feinsilver in there. Feinsilver in deep on a shot now.
Yeah, Feinsilver is hanging tough. It's interesting, though, when you look back at 141 and see what Tariq Wilson did. There's a little bit of, they talk about it in the NBA all the time, a little bit of load management, I think, involved as you think about, okay, what do I got to do to get to that final spot? How do I handle myself, right?
Absolutely. That's a great way of putting it, Dean. Tariq Wilson did plenty to get through, and then at the end just kind of conserving energy a little bit maybe. I don't think Austin O'Connor is going to get that luxury here the way Finesilver's putting the pressure on.
Yeah, you're right.
Look at that front headlock from Austin O'Connor, just so heavy
Power.
on his opponent's head. That's going to be an easy 2 for O'Connor.
Yeah, that comes from the strength in his shoulders, his upper torso. Just massive power.
And it looks like he's going to finish this match on top. Finesilver's still trying to get away. Nice mat return.
But enough to move on to the finals, where we're expected to see the number 1 seed at 149, Austin O'Connor. I'm Dean Linke with Ryan Tice. Over on mat 1 is Sean Kenny and Rock Harrison. Always great to hear Sean and Rock as we bring you back over to the 157 bracket and our coverage on mat 2. We'll have Hayden Hidley, your number 1 seed, 85-6. Josh McClure, who got a 4-3 win over Brandon LaRue. And you see Connor Brady and Justin McCoy. 4 NCAA qualifiers will come out of the 157 bracket.
Yeah, 4 NCAA automatic bids in this weight class, but Hayden Hidley, the man in red right here, the 1 seed and a big favorite to claim his 4th ACC title.
You were unabashed about Austin O'Connor and his ability to win an NCAA championship. Where do you put Hayden Hidley's chances to do that?
Hayden Hidley's right there with everybody in the country. As a redshirt freshman, he was in the NCAA finals. As a redshirt sophomore, he took Jason Nolf to the end of the end, pushed him harder than anybody, and then obviously didn't get the chance last year, but there are 2 guys that have established themselves above everybody nationally at this weight class. That is Hayden Hidley and Ryan Deacon of Northwestern.
So you see the 3-time All-American hoping to become the first ever 4-time All-American at NC State. And, of course, coming up for the consolation, the Wiz will be on the call with Chris Hooks. And he was only at NC State 3 years, or he would have done it, right?
You're exactly right about that. Very impressive. NC State is a program that has won 8 individual NCAA titles, have never had a 4-time All-American. There's not a whole lot of firsts left to accomplish in program history.
Smart young man as well. He's already got a degree in business administration, as you see the points starting to rack up for Hayden Hidley. He enrolled in NC State's nonprofit management grad program and was named a 2020 Scholar All-American for the 3rd straight year. This while being one of the top wrestlers in the country. That's a true student athlete right there. It's got to make NC State super proud.
One of the best wrestlers in the country and one of the best student athletes in the country. Pat Papalizio says, if anybody could write a book on how to win NCAAs off the mat, it's Hayden Hidley. He's good enough, he could be a coach right now. That's what he said earlier this year.
Do you have any insight on Hayden Hidley's plans for next year?
I don't want to say anything is written in stone yet, but when Pat Papalizio talked to us earlier this week, it certainly sounded like Hayden Hidley's planning on coming back for a 6th year next season.
There you go, as you saw him release McClure, who's got 1 now. Official score is 6-1. 1 minute remaining here in the first. Hayden Hidley, as Ryan told you, a finalist in 2018, that close. And that rivalry he had with Penn State, pretty epic, right?
Yeah, that semifinal match him and Jason Nolf had, controversy, and it was so close. Nobody had pushed Jason Nolf like that in years.
Well, and part of it is, remember, Hayden's from Lewistown, Pennsylvania, so you got to believe Penn State was knocking at his door quite often as well.
Oh, yeah. And he decided to come down to NC State, and I'm sure whenever he sees Penn State on the other side of him, that's a highlight match for him.
He's a perfect 27-0 all-time versus ACC foes in all collegiate competitions, 19-0 in duels, and 15-0 versus ranked ACC foes. Second in school history in career win-loss percentage, only behind Nick Gwazowski, who we just talked about.
Yeah, that's an impressive list right there. Anytime you're in the same breath as Nick Gwazowski, it's impressive. And Hayden Hidley showing why early in this match.
8-1. You've seen Hayden Hidley up close. Break down the different skill sets, the body type, what makes him so unique as an elite level wrestler.
Well, here's the thing. Hayden Hidley was good as soon as he stepped on the mat for NC State. You can see that by his resume. But where he's really developed, in my opinion, is early on he was a guy that relied on the underhook. That's how he got to his offense. He's diversified his offense. He's gotten so much better on top. You see him hitting tilts and scoring back points on top now. I mean, he's a guy that's really rounded out his game as he's gone on throughout his college career.
Started the season with a pin against Gardner-Webb, then a major, then another fall. Decent matchup against Justin McCoy from Virginia. Tech fall over Tyler Badgett from Pitt. And then met McClure, beat him by tech fall 20-5. And here they go again with Hidley with an 8-1 lead, 1 minute remaining in the second.
Hidley in deep once again. And he just makes those finishes look easy.
Good work by McClure to get out of there.
McClure hit for stalling there, just his first.
Look at Hidley bring him back in.
So impressive.
Right?
I mean, this guy does not have a weakness in his game, and he is out there on a mission.
Good shot there of the North Carolina bench, Coleman Scott, who obviously high praise for Josh McClure, but when you're at the level of Coleman Scott, the guy was at the Olympics, right? You can appreciate big-time wrestling, and I think that's what you're witnessing right there. It's less about saying stuff to Josh McClure and more about soaking in what you're witnessing from the opposition. Then the lessons can be taught later.
Yeah, I think everybody in this conference, coaches, wrestlers, all the way up and down, they all respect what Hayden Hidley's done, and many are in awe of it because he's just so good.
Speaking of respect, how about Coleman Scott, Olympic bronze medalist? You have to respect that.
Yeah, Carolina actually has 2 Olympic medals in that corner, Coleman Scott and assistant coach Jameel Kelly. Hidley just never comes out of position. You saw McClure came up, was standing up straight. Hidley still just in his stance. That's the thing. If you're a young wrestler watching this, watch Hayden Hidley and how he goes about his business. Never out of position, never comes out of his stance, always attacking.
Another shot, 2 more points as he's approaching that tech fall window for sure, Ryan.
Yeah, he can rack up points in a hurry. It's impressive.
There it is. Hayden Hidley has not lost a single matchup in the Atlantic Coast Conference since arriving in Raleigh, North Carolina, where we are today. Unbelievable, 28-0 versus the ACC. Phenomenal student, human being, phenomenal wrestler, and the longest active streak right there. Once again, we can send it over to Matt 1. That's well said. Extra points coming for Virginia. We are going to step aside and then be back with 165 and the big boys as we are almost halfway through a fantastic day. The 2021 ACC Wrestling Championships on ACC Network Extra.
It is the deepest weight class in the ACC, 165 pounds. Wenzel and Monday, Kennedy Monday, had to outlast Thomas Bullitt. I mean, it's as deep as you go. And then you have Mekhi Lewis, the 2019 NCAA champion. And a lot of questions surrounding Mekhi Lewis and his health after he was injured in the final duel. And Rock, break down what Mekhi Lewis's decision is going to be today.
What happened was an injury default. This was not a medical forfeit. Mekhi had to weigh in, and he had to step foot on the mat for at least 1 second and say, I injury defaulted. Now, we can do a medical forfeit for the next matches because he's already made weight and he actually quote-unquote wrestled and he injury defaulted. That means that he wrestled in the conference tournament and he qualifies for an at-large bid. Now, if he had medical forfeited, then he would not have wrestled in the conference tournament. And then he would not have been able to make it to the national championship unless it was a COVID-related issue. This was not a COVID-related issue. This was an injury. So Mekhi had to weigh in, step on the mat, get an injury default, and now more than likely he's going to medical forfeit out and work to get an at-large bid. And if you're a returning national champion, you will get an at-large bid.
You mentioned the injury. It happened in the duel with Pitt and with Jake Wenzel. And moments ago, Mekhi Lewis, the obligatory stepping on the mat. The time started, and as Rock explained so thoroughly the reasoning behind the decision process and why Virginia Tech went this route. But again, the big reason he's unable to compete was the duel against Pitt. The 2019 NCAA champion just got hammered underneath by Wenzel, who just out-physicaled the talented wrestler from Virginia Tech.
And there was nothing illegal done, just a tough match. Don't know what the injury looks like. It was a shoulder, obviously. But once again, Virginia Tech fans, he will get an at-large bid. There's no question about it. But he had to weigh in and compete, and I put in the air quotes, compete in the conference tournament. Because of that, it's an injury default. And then afterwards, it will be a medical forfeit, assuming, which I believe, he's not going to wrestle anymore in this tournament. So unfortunately, Virginia Tech will not get any points at 165, which certainly makes a big, big difference for the ACC championship. Good decision for the team, for the NCAAs. You want to make sure that Mekhi gets healthy. Because the ACC's moved their tournament back a week, now he has about 3 weeks to get healthy. So from the time he got himself injured to the NCAAs, that's 5 weeks. So now you have 5 weeks to possibly get yourself healthy. It's important that you wrestle healthy. Very much of a team decision here. We want to make sure Mekhi as well. But remember, he had to weigh in to compete in the conference tournament. Injury default, he'll medical forfeit. Virginia Tech will not get any points, and Mekhi will try to get himself ready for the NCAA championships.
Let's go ahead, take a sneak peek. 165. Mat number 2, Jake Wenzel, who entered as the top seed. He was the wrestler we saw in the highlight a few moments ago from his riding position. Able to get into the top position, and he's a hammer. He's as strong as they come in the upper body, and this was the situation where the left arm, left shoulder was injured. You see the grimace from Mekhi Lewis. He was unable to finish that match, and we talked to Keith Gavin about it. Wenzel was disappointed. He wanted to finish the deal, but with the circumstances, it did not happen, but clearly, and as you described, Rock, that was all Jake Winsel that night on Mekhi Lewis.
And that's Jake Wensel's strongest position, his top. Putting the leg in, being physical. His next best position is the underhooks and when he goes to a body lock. So it's important as he goes to the underhook, Kennedy Monday has to keep good head position, because what Wenzel will try to do is go for double underhooks to go towards a bear hug. And if he can't get a bear hug, he'll throw him by. And that happened in their last match when Wenzel got the doubles and he put Monday on his back.
Kennedy Monday, when he has everything clicking, he is as good as they come. Uh-oh, watch out.
That's where he wants to be. That's exactly where Wenzel wants to be. Now, because
Wenzel
Kennedy Monday is so tall, you have to really make sure that you get in tight. Because when you're tall, you can get your hips out a little better than if you're a shorter wrestler, where it's harder to get your hips away.
Scoreless in the second period. Bonus coverage. Mat number 2 from the ACC Championship. No score. Kennedy Monday, the 4 seed. Jake Winsel, the defending ACC champion, the 1 seed in the ACC's deepest weight class. Straight on double attempt by Monday, unable to finish it off.
Monday, if he's able to get to those long arms and get to the double, he's got to run through it, because what Wenzel will do is try to stop the initial push and jack up to go to what he likes as the double underhooks.
Virginia Tech into the number 1 spot. NC State second. North Carolina third. Obviously, with Mekhi Lewis's decision, that will definitely impact our team race. Dampens the possibility of a Hokie title, although they still have enough to go through, and Tony Roby was confident his guys could still take care of business. So we'll wait and see how it unfolds, but a narrow lead over NC State. Third period underway, both wrestlers on their feet. Monday and Winsel. Winsel with the quick escape.
Once again, Kennedy Monday, if he's going to finish on Wenzel, he has to run through his doubles. Because what Wenzel does, he's one of the strongest guys, pound for pound, on Pitt's team. He's going to wait to jack up, and then he will throw by or go to a bear hug. And Kennedy Monday has to do lateral motion, because what Wenzel does, he has a good, solid, foundational stance. He's not going to move too much unless he has to.
Change of level by Monday. I like that from Kennedy. That's what he needs to do. I thought you hit it well. He's been too stationary. Here come the double unders by Winsel, so he's back in that comfortable area that he just thrives in.
Monday has to circle, because if he lets Jake Wenzel just bully him out of bounds, it's not going to look good in the eyes of the official.
.45 seconds for Kennedy Monday.
There
he just comes in, and Winsel caught him.
Kennedy Monday's doing a good job of keeping his hips away. But when he puts his hips away, what Wenzel will try to do is try to throw it by, because there's space. So if Kennedy Monday keeps his hips close, what Wenzel will do is go to a body lock or bear hug. If he keeps his hips away, then he'll kind of throw it by.
He has Monday up in the air. There's some of the strength by Winsel off those double unders. Now a trip attempt and scrambling near the edge. No points. We're down to 10 seconds. Here comes Monday looking for the shot. Winsel backpedaling. Monday cannot get the 2. And for the second straight year in these ACC championships, Jake Winsel knocks off Kennedy Monday.
Wenzel gets a chance to defend his ACC championship at 165, and Jake Keating gets to move on to wrestle Jake Wenzel. Jake Wenzel majored Jake Keating. So it's a battle of Jakes at 165 in the finals.
Winsole and Keating for the title at 165. And again, all hopes is that the extra week in between the ACCs and the NCAAs will benefit Mekhi Lewis. The wrestling world needs Mekhi out on that mat competing. The magic that he brought 2 years ago in 2019, watching his parents and the emotion and the ability to bring an NCAA title to Blacksburg for the first time in program history. Let's hope he gets healthy and well. 174 is our next stop in this semifinal round. Daniel Bowler, the top seed for North Carolina State. The Bowler brothers, the twins, have meant so much to the program. He will try to slow down Dakota Howard. He is one of the more entertaining wrestlers in the conference. Victor Marcelli, Virginia, the 3 seed. Clay Lout back at a weight. He won the ACC title in a year ago, and that's 174. Marcelli and Lout, the Tar Heel and the Cavalier.
They wrestled a relatively close match until Lout opened it up towards the end of the match.
And Rock, you're just bummed you don't get to use one of the greatest nicknames in the conference at this weight. I'll let you say it here. Come on, give him some love over there.
Virginia Tech has the junkyard dog, Dakota Howard, so I said it. Both of these guys work well from the underhook. Lout has a strong underhook, a good throw by as well. Now, he doesn't go to it as much as Winsole does, but he does get an underhook and goes for double underhooks as well. But he also does a throw by here, so it's important that Marcelli keeps his head position. But right now, Lout has the head position. If you have the underhook, you want your head on the side of the underhook. Conversely, if someone has an underhook on you, you want your head on the side of the underhook.
Usually when you're good at the underhooks like Clay Lout is, you have some Greco background, and he certainly does. He was a member of the 2016 USA Greco-Roman team that competed at the Cadet World Championships. So good in the upper ties and the upper body, and we talked about it earlier in the first round with Coleman Scott's dilemma, and it was a good one to start the year when you have Devin Kane at 74 and Clay Lout. Those two, in fact, had a wrestle-off in December to see who would start the year at 74. Kane won that wrestle-off, so Lout bumped up to 184, but midway through the year toward the tail end, they switched around, and Lout has certainly found his magic again. Front headlock position, trying to spin around on Marcelli.
Marcelli needs to take the hand off of his chin. Use his right hand to take it off the chin. What Lout has to do is continue to bring him down to the mat, be relentless there. This is playing out like the first match when they wrestled. It was 1-1 going towards the end of the third period. Good single here. He's got to be patient here. Good limp leg by Marcelli. Lout goes right back in there. He says, I do more than underhooks.
Trying to get some late offense, but he won't have time. First period, stalemate, no score. Marcelli and Clay Lout. Victor Marcelli overcoming a tragedy. His older brother Lucas, who wrestled at Case Western Reserve, was in a plane crash back in August of 2015. Lucas and 3 friends from the university were just moments into what was supposed to be a 4-hour ride in a small charter plane when it crashed just outside the Willoughby area, killing all 4, and Victor, losing his brother, carries him with him every time he steps on the mat. And Steve Garland told us last year that was a topic he brought up in his very first phone conversation with Victor Marcelli in the recruitment process, and just the maturity of this young man, a sophomore, and remembering his brother.
Well, I'm starting to feel that he can get to the right leg of Marcelli. He's lowering his level. Now, Marcelli, he had some freestyle in him as well. And in the first round, he had over and unders, and he would hook the outside leg and go for a throw. Nice dunk under to a double. Beautiful by the returning ACC champion. Chain wrestling there. Duck under to a double. Just tried to get rolled through by Marcelli and came out on top. Really sharp.
Marcelli trying to get away, no point yet.
You say, why is that no point? And the reason why is because that arm was all the way across the back. As an official, you wait to see that hand goes towards the middle of the back where the spine is. Once that arm goes from around the hips and rib cage and goes to the middle, but here's a duck, goes to a double, beautiful little roll through. He stopped the roll through, gets the takedown. Really good chain wrestling by Loud. So I was saying that when you say that should be neutral, should be on their feet, but if the wrestler that's in advantage position has his arm around the complete rib cage or stomach, whatever you want to call it, that's not going to be an escape. The referee is looking to see that hand go towards the middle of the back where the spine is. Once the hand gets about there, then they'll say it's neutral. Otherwise, you'll give an escape or a loss of control, and what will happen is that guy will just lock in, bring him to the mat, duck under, do a double. So when you all see it, fans, and you say that should be an escape, that should be lost control, look for that hand to get to the middle of the back.
3-1, Lout with the lead. Wrestlers neutral position on their feet. Second period winding down in the semifinal at 174 pounds. Here he is back in on a double, but Marcelli able to get the hips back that time. He was also tagged for stalling, Marcelli, right as Lout launched that, so keep that in your back pocket as we go deeper into this third period.
Loud is starting to feel more confident. He's thinking that he can get to the legs, and Marcelli isn't really showing too much from an offensive standpoint in regards to shooting. Still, it's just 3-1.
Clay Lout won 3 state titles in Kansas. Yes, that's right. The Kansas state champion finding his way to Chapel Hill. He's a good one. Stand-up position underneath. Marcelli needs to try to figure out a way to get out here from the grip of Lout. He will elevate again with a mat return back down.
And that was working for. Now he's on both legs. Look at this smart wrestling. He was listening to the official count to 4. Once he got to 4, then he put his feet out of bounds, so there was no stall call. But he accumulated riding times. Once again, smart wrestling, because you just don't know if 4 seconds will make a difference at the end of a match.
Marcelli with a Granby roll, and it works. He's away. So the point, Marcelli, he's able to get out before Lout could establish riding time, and Marcelli in this match down 1, third period.
Absolutely right. Now, Marcelli really hasn't shown any type of threats to Lout's legs, so we're going to, and look at that beautiful UNC double. They drill doubles, just like they coach. 2 legs, better than 1. It's very difficult to scramble out of a double. Beautiful shot.
That gives Loud a little bit more breathing room to work. Plus, he gets back on tack as far as the riding time goes. 5-2 Loud. Pretty good position to ride and eat some more of this clock, trying to punch his ticket back into the finals and defend his title from a year ago.
This is a beautiful ride right here. He's perpendicular out to the side, kind of a near wrist series. He's not doing anything that's a stall call, but he's also perpendicular. That's important. Looks like there's a stalemate call here by the official. But that's where you want to be. You want to be out to the side, perpendicular, not behind. Get out to the side. Looking like the returning ACC champion that he is. Marcella's got to go big here. Back to the double. I love it. Back to the double. Look for a cradle. We could have back points here.
Going to run out of time. Match will come to an end just as Laut was sniffing some possible near fall points. Clay Laut is certainly happy to be back at 174. In fact, ever since Coleman Scott put him back down at his weight, he has been perfect. Laut in a position to defend his title.
Beautiful double. I mean, quick double. Didn't give a chance for Marcella to even grab the leg and start funk rolling, shoot a double, and finish quickly. That's what UNC does. Good job out of returning ACC champ.
Imagine this, Daniel Bullard leading 3-0, and he's riding. That's not a shocker, one of the best riders in collegiate wrestling. Bullard on top of Dakota Howard. NC State, UNC, it might be tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern on the ACC network. And speaking of riding, one of the best in the business, Rock, Daniel Bullard doing his thing.
That's where he makes his money. And continue to be physical and dominant. If you want to get into a grinding type of match from Thomas Bullard or Daniel Bullard, that's not where you want to be. And they are just physical. Earning a win. Try to turn these things around from their rematch between Daniel Bullard and Clay Laut. See if Daniel Bullard can get his ACC championship that he's longed for.
184 is next, and it is really top heavy. When you look at Hunter Bolin and Trent Hidley, Bolin is perfect in his matchups against Hidley. In fact, is not allowed a takedown in low-scoring affairs. But first things first, Bolin has to get by Greg Harvey, an NCAA qualifier from a year ago, while Trent Hidley has to take care of business against Devin Kane, part of that powerful 74-84 combo for UNC. Keys to look for in this semifinal, Rock. Let's start with Hidley as we get our first look at him today.
Can he get to his underhooks? If he gets to his underhook, it could be a long, long match for Kane.
The year did not start smoothly off the map for Hidley. It, in fact, began with a trip to the emergency room and an emergency appendectomy. Literally had to be carried by his teammates into the hospital. Missed a couple of weeks, was able to get back on track. His training world class, so he was able to make a quick recovery, and his only blemish was a familiar one. He has yet to figure out Bolin of Virginia Tech. He's in on a shot early on Kane near the edge around the boundary. Kane is hoping to get a stalemate out of this, and he will scoot out of bounds.
Sometimes when someone has an underhook, you attack the underhook. Don't necessarily run away, because when you run away from the underhook, that's kind of what the guy that has underhook wants you to do. But sometimes you attack the underhook. So if someone goes for an underhook, you can go right into it.
Green stalling, that's Kane. So when you say attack the underhook, you go right back into it. Break it down even more.
Sure, kind of like a pitcher and a bat and a ball. You know, if a bat and a ball, if a ball has been thrown at you, you attack it with the bat. And so if someone has an underhook, sometimes you fight force with force and you attack it.
Kane certainly has the strength to match the underhooks as far as physical stature goes, and Hidley Scoreless in this first period. The ACC Freshman of the Year. He was seeded 5th at last year's Nationals in his freshman campaign. A good one. Everybody around the ACC knows the younger brother to Hayden Hidley. Yeah, that was textbook. 2 points. NC State fires the opening salvo. Yes, he did.
It wasn't a great shot by Kane there, and Hidley just ran through it.
Like so many of these wrestlers, he has been on the big stage. When you look at Trent Hidley, trying to get a tilt here, has the arm trapped, and can he keep that toe in? No, he cannot. Did he get the 2 swipe? Let's see.
Didn't look like it.
Nope. No near fall points. Well, going back to Hidley on the international stage, even before he stepped on campus at Raleigh, he won a bronze medal at the Junior World Championships in Estonia. Extensive wrestling background, and the Hidley is a big reason why NC State is looking for their 3rd consecutive ACC championship this year.
Good job by Kane scoring at the end of the period. Kane kind of walked into it. Not a great shot, was extended, and a re-attack by Hidley. With a tight waist that Hidley has, Kane has to get his right hip down and try to move the tight waist from all the way around the stomach to the belly button. Going back to the same position. I love when guys keep their 1 foot in. They know that we're trying to accumulate riding time. And that's just little things you get the more you wrestle, the more you're out there. Just these little things may not make a difference in this match, may not make a difference in the next couple matches, but there will be a match where you just keep your foot in for just a couple seconds will give you the riding time point that will help you to win a match.
And the edge of mat wrestling, quite frankly, is something that freshmen coming into these universities really have to adjust to because of the high school rules. It's completely different from what we see at the collegiate level, and as we both know, a lot of the points, a lot of the opportunities happen right along that border, and that is an adjustment for the younger guys coming in.
Absolutely, but the one rule that every wrestler should know is to wrestle to the whistle. That when you think you're out of bounds, you're not out of bounds, so you hear the whistle. And as long as you keep wrestling, things will go well in your favor. The minute you stop wrestling is when there's a problem.
Beautiful elevation, beautiful sweeping trip. He's able to return Kane back down, and quite a ride being put on here by Trent Hidley, showing his versatility. Yes, he's known for those powerful underhooks, but when he gets on top, the ability to ride a pretty good guy. And Devin Kane, this is another dimension that he brings. The complete package, what it takes to win a national championship.
And what Hidley needs to do is he's doing what's called the tight waist tilt. He needs to elevate the bottom leg. When he was doing the tilt, he was elevating the top leg. And when someone elevates the top leg, they can belly down. But when you elevate the bottom leg and put the foot at the knee, not the ankle, then you have a better chance of getting back points.
Kane ties it up, finally able to get out from underneath, but the damage inflicted by Hidley in the top position. Nearly 2 minutes of riding time, lower left-hand corner. Tied at 2. Two's wild, 22 seconds to go, second period.
Kane really isn't threatened right now.
He has it. The snap down there possibility, but nothing panning out. So So to that point, what's Kane need to do in this third period?
It's a great question. I'm going to guess to say that he has to create action by not one motion, but two motions. Follow up by shot, reshot, circle motion. But it's tough when you have someone that's Hidley.
Well, this is a tall order if you're Kane to try to ride Hidley for 50 seconds and nullify the riding time. Hidley is away. Yeah, you knew that probably wasn't going to happen. So Hidley gets the escape, plus he has riding time. Kane needs to figure out a way to get two.
Attacking Hidley straight on is not a good strategy.
Comes in on a low shot into the high crotch, scrambling. Kane close to getting two, and he does for the Tar Heels. Developing situation in this third period in the semi at 184.
He went right back to that high C that he had, the high C that he had in the first round, and he would crack down. He finishes, sits down, turns into Hidley, and Hidley is taken down. Can he repeat this? It doesn't look like he's going to be able to hold Hidley down to knock out the riding time. So does he go right to his feet?
The riding time is the important clock now if you're North Carolina, and as Rock predicted, Hidley is away. So the riding time still in Hidley's corner, meaning Kane needs another takedown. 40 seconds to do it.
He's got to go back to that high C. And what Hidley's doing, he's putting the hand down.
Digs in the underhook. Kane trying to figure out the hand defense. Takes a shot.
He's got to shoot soon.
Time to put the foot on the gas. 16 seconds. Hidley steering him. There's a high crotch attempt. He was looking for it. Hidley was ready. And we're inside 10. Hidley drops down, scrambling near the edge, down to 2. And NC State into the finals. It comes down to riding time, and that second period ride by Trent Hidley.
Good job by both wrestlers to keep wrestling throughout the whole match. Devin King was right there. Right there.
A good one. Hidley prevails in a battle for Carolina. Kane and Hidley, a 5-4. And it goes to Trent Hidley via the riding time. Hunter Bolin beats Greg Harvey, we understand. So Bolin also into the finals. And yeah, it's been a one takedown match in every matchup. When you look at Hidley and Bolin, any reason to think it will be different tonight, Rock?
I hope so, because both coaches said they want both of their wrestlers, Hidley and Bolin, to attack more. They think that both of their wrestlers have more offense to show. And certainly Coach Popolizio said that he wants Trent to continue to shoot. And Hunter Bolin, same thing. He can ride on top. But same thing with Coach Roby. He said, I think Hunter has more in him to create more offense.
Well, one wrestler who never has a problem getting his shots in is Nino Bonacorsi, one of the best on his feet in the country. Bonacorsi, the top seed, taking on Nick Reen and NC State. We dial up Virginia, North Carolina. JILO, the Cavaliers seeded second. Max Shaw seeded third for UNC. Shaw victorious earlier today. A real impressive showing, dominant performance in his win over Caden Russell.
It's been a good one. It's been a good one. One of the things that Io does, he does a sweep single to his opponent's right leg. And even though he's the number 2 seed, he is the returning ACC champion, Aiello.
Aiello, the 2-time NCAA qualifier. Back-to-back years. He was the ACC runner-up 2 years ago. As Rock mentioned, won the title last year.
Nice dump. We got some near fall. We've got near fall. 2-2. Max Shaw taking a 4-0 lead over the returning ACC champion. Couldn't ask for a better start for Max Shaw. And he still got the elbow. Not much that Aiello could do, but accumulating riding time.
Elbow still firmly trapped. Shaw will now get Aiello tagged for a stall underneath, so Hollywood could not have scripted this any better if you're Max Shaw in the North Carolina corner.
Tell you what, and Aiello saying, what can I do? And the head referee, Fred McJerry, said you can move.
Aiello trying to force the pace, and he is away. And now let's see how Aiello reacts. Down 3 in this first period. Comes in with a shot. One thing about Jay Aiello, he's not gun shy. He's going to take his crack. So 3 points for him, pretty easy to overcome. But boy, what a start by Shaw.
Wonderful. Controlled the elbow. Looks a little shrugged there. But he controlled the left. Used the left elbow dump. Put him right on his back. Gets the 2 swipes. 4-0. To start the match. Aiello's got an escape in. Let's see if Aiello goes to his offense. What's great about this match is both of these 97-pounders are favorites on their coaching staff. Coach Carlin loves Aiello. He's the true leader on the team. And Max Shaw, as Coleman Scott has said many times over, he loves this kid.
Yeah, Garland, what he called Jay Aiello, the Mount Rushmore of the Virginia wrestling room. All the guys look to the big guy, Jay Aiello.
And Max Shaw has a stall call against Aiello, so it's a great start for Max Shaw.
Shaw comes in on a shot. Has the left leg underneath. Aiello trying to come over the top. He grabs the opposite side leg for Max Shaw. And the period comes to an end. Team standings updated. And this is through 84. NC State 53.5 points. Virginia Tech second. North Carolina third. And again, the Hokies taking a big blow with Mekhi Lewis not wrestling today, so missed opportunities there, but obviously more importantly the health of Lewis and getting him ready for nationals. Period number 2, not sure what the delay is. Sounds like a scoring issue with the computer system. We've had a few hiccups over on this, Matt, as far as the technology goes. Nothing beats pen and paper. Right, Rock?
That is true, especially when there's technical difficulties.
And Brandon Neff is even trying to get me to go automatic mode. He sent this fancy spreadsheet for scoring the team points. Rock always made fun of me. I had like 20 pieces of notebook paper doing the math after each round. I don't have to do that anymore. Brandon
technology
looking after us. Second period, here we go. 4-1, and let's see who they give the caution to here. I'm not sure if it was an inadvertent whistle on the other mat. Nope, they give a caution to Shaw. 4-1, second period. Quick stand up by Aiello underneath. But he is brought back down. Look at that pressure and the strength of Shaw. All on the upper half. Now he drapes off to the right side of the body of Aiello. He's just burying him, isn't he?
He's keeping his head right behind Aiello's head. And remember, he had riding time, and he's accumulating a good amount of riding time. Very strong start to the second period from Max Shaw.
Aiello cautiously, slowly working up, and then in a quick burst, he's away.
Critical point of the match right here. Aiello needs to score, and I tell you what, if Max Shaw gets a takedown here, he can really open this thing up.
Aiello on the edge, toe drags 2, and we're tied at 4.
Aiello's pretty good on top, so let's see if he tries to keep down. So he dropped down to both legs, and then he tripped with the left leg to get the takedown. Max Shaw has to still stay confident and continue to wrestle here, and Aiello's got to show the experience that he's had.
Aiello would love to dent into this riding time, and he's doing just that. Left-hand corner in the green, down to 1:19 of riding time.
It's taking a lot of strength to just kind of bring him back in. Again, we'll go back to that 1 foot in. Pretty crucial for Aiello to keep Max Shaw down. Conversely, it's pretty important that Max Shaw tries to work to get up here. Now, Max Shaw's got to get his hips a little higher. This is where Aiello's tough now. Here's the question. If Max goes underneath, will Aiello say, I think I can ride him out for the whole period and get riding time?
I think he will.
I wonder what Coach Scott's thinking at this point.
I think judging by this ride and the history of Aiello, I don't think there's any reason to doubt he could ride possibly the third period. So that is going to be the decision Scott and the Carolina corner will have to decide. The Paulson brothers, the assistants for Steve Garland and Virginia.
Shaw's going underneath. Oh, mental toughness on both parts right now. Mental toughness. The Max Shaw says, I got to get out. Aiello's got to say, I got to ride him. Hey, this is going to be a battle of wills here. Aiello's got to say, I'm going to keep him down and earn my riding time. And Max Shaw said, I'm going to get out and upset the returning ACC champion.
Goes into the claw on top. Shaw
can swim. He can start swimming.
Yes, he can.
Start swimming, reach for the head. He needs to reach for his head with his right hand. But Jay Allen does a good job of sitting in the corner. And riding time is continuing to increase. Now Shaw needs to push that leg away. Good job by Aiello, just to stay patient. That's experience. 5th-year senior. I've been in his position before. I know what it's like to be in a situation where I need to earn the riding time or my hips are a little sagging. Really, really tough ride here. And he earns a stall call. Max Shaw's got to start moving here. Feet are still in here. We were talking about it before. This is what's drawing the riding time. That foot being in. Clock is still accumulating. Max Shaw has got to move.
Aiello 25 seconds away from riding time. Incredible display right now by Jay Aiello. Fortitude, able to ride Max Shaw, and Shaw just looks dejected underneath.
And he's keeping that foot in. That foot in is now accumulating. We said it for the past couple matches. That toe in makes the difference, and Jay Aiello has now gotten riding time. This is a champion right here.
A championship type of ride by the Virginia veteran and the senior, the defending ACC champion. He had his back against the ropes, down 4-0. And then to ride his way to victory says it all for Jay Aiello.
They said the Mount Rushmore of Virginia. Man, mental toughness by J.I.L.O. Down by 4, 5 straight points to win 5-4 and get to the finals of the ACC championship against Nino Bonacorsi.
The seeds hold true to form at 197. Nino Bonacorsi, offense all over the board. J.I.L.O. just showed another way to win a match. A 2-minute ride in the third period, wiping out riding time and then eventually building the riding time difference for him. And Aiello and Bonacorsi in a showdown at 197 tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern on the ACC Network. Final semifinal bout, and it comes with the big guys. We're into the heavyweight division. Deontay Wilson, NC State. Andrew Gunning, North Carolina. Those two very familiar with one another. Quinn Miller, Virginia. Hunter Katka jumps in the lineup for Virginia Tech due to an injury by Borse. So Katka gets his first taste of the ACC championship. Hunter Katka in the center, waiting for the arrival of Quinn Miller. Katka, freshman, Brookhaven, Pennsylvania. This is a weight class starting the year. Virginia Tech knew there would be competition in the room. You have the junior John Borst, who was wrestling pretty well, and then he was injured in the duel against NC State. He showed a lot of toughness, not injury defaulting out of that. He was able to finish his match with Deontay Wilson, lost it, but that prevented NC State from getting bonus points, which in essence was a big factor in Virginia Tech's win. So Borse was heroic on that night, even in defeat. But that injury has cost him, as he has not returned to the mat since, and it's been Katka, the freshman, stepping in for Tony Roby and company.
Hey, you could say a freshman in the semifinals of the ACC tournament, but Hunter Katka's a blue chip freshman. He's not your typical freshman. He's been in the limelight before. He's been in Pennsylvania States. He's been in these tough matches, so he shouldn't be nervous. But then you have a senior like Quinn Miller, who's been in the system for a while, has been in college wrestling, knows what it is to grind it out. Let's see what happens here.
When you look at Quinn Miller, Rock, it's speed. Obviously, he's not a big heavyweight, and they really have given up trying to add weight to his frame, but he is just fine where he's at because he's so darn athletic. It's a tough matchup for the bigger heavyweights.
Coach Garland said that he actually works with Quinn Miller. I'm not sure how that works, but that's what he said.
Uh-oh. And these two rocketed at the same time, and they cracked heads. Miller took it in the nose, and you could tell Katka was stunned. He was the one who initiated the shot. And both wrestlers will be attended to. There's going to be some blood. Yeah, Miller looked like he got popped right on the nose and the back of the head for Katka. Like two battering rams, they came in at the same time.
So initially we thought it might have been injury time, but once there was blood time is not blood time. It's an official timeout, but it's for blood. Let's see what happened here.
So you want to be a heavyweight in the ACC. Here you go. Weak.
Yeah, little chin action. What's a wrestling tournament without blood?
I'm surprised there's no teeth right now on the mat. That was a pretty vulnerable area for Quinn Miller. Good look at Steve Garland returning to his alma mater, and what a job he has done. One of the longest tenured coaches in the country. Garland, the 2000 Virginia grad, and he was quite frank in his conversation with us, talking about his memories of wrestling in the ACC championship, and he was quite forthcoming on one of the worst memories of his career was when he got pinned his senior year in the ACC championship.
It was a defensive fall, and it was when Maryland hosted the ACC championship, and he said that he couldn't look his mother in the face who came to see him, and he got pinned, and he learned a lot from that.
Won an ACC championship in 1997. Qualified for the NCAA competitions all 3 of his years. Look at these 2 big guys going at it. They're all patched up, ready to go. No score. Miller and Katka, final bout in this semifinal round. What's been an entertaining Sunday afternoon in Raleigh. Again, coverage of the ACC championships tonight, the finals.
Good
7 o'clock Eastern.
Katka. Good job by the freshman. Not a great low single shot by Quinn Miller. Hunter Katka gets a reshot and gets the takedown.
Katka was such an impressive resume, as Rock described. Even before he stepped on a college mat, he was a 2-time Pennsylvania state champion. Anytime you win a state title in Pennsylvania, you know you are the real deal. He was the first Delaware County guy to win 2 Pennsylvania wrestling titles, second to win a title with an unbeaten season, the first to secure 3 medals in states competition. He was the top heavyweight recruit in the country, a big landing for Roby and the Hokies.
So they ask for a count there. And a reversal by Miller. Way to wrestle through that position.
Miller goes tumbling off the mat. He's become a favorite of Packer and Durham. They love this guy. They've had him on a couple of times. He just has we were talking earlier, the personality of your coach. Here you go, Quinn Miller. You talk to him one-on-one, you're going to laugh, I guarantee you. And you'll hear a couple of stories that you'll just be scratching your head at.
Oh my goodness, he let him go with 7 seconds left.
Yeah.
Interesting. Will that come back to bite Quinn Miller? Like you said, personalities of the coaches oftentimes rumbles off to your student athletes, and anyone that has a mullet like that, you know that they are taking the personality of an eccentric coach.
Katka gets the late escape, so it's 3-2 Virginia Tech as we start the second period, and Katka will go optional. He doesn't want to mess with any riding possibilities, so these wrestlers want to duke it out on their feet.
So Quinn Miller has a left leg lead. Hunter Katka has a right leg lead. So Quinn Miller oftentimes shoots a low single to the right leg. Hunter Katka has to be aware of that. He defended it great in the first period and spun around for the takedown. In everyone's wrestling career, especially in college, there's a match that makes you think about your career a little differently. This might be the match for Hunter Katka. Can he get to the finals of the ACC championship? Quinn Miller, top 20 ranked wrestler, been in here for a while. Hunter Katka thrust into the lineup, not a real season. Is this the match for Hunter Katka?
And let's not forget, this is one of the weight classes where there will be a new champion. Demetrius Thomas, who dominated this heavyweight division the past 2 years, gone. He has graduated from Pitt, so the door is wide open. Will it be a youthful star in Hunter Katka or a battle-tested veteran like Quinn Miller? This is going to be a 3-period match. 20 seconds to go, tied at 3. Riding time not a factor. Head to head. They've already cracked heads once. See the perspiration every time Miller gets a chance for a disengagement. He's wiping his hand on the singlet. And we go to the third period, tied at 3.
Hunter Catka's looking good. Just from his body motion, how he's moving, how he's holding mat position, attacking. He's looking good.
Quinn Miller finding some oxygen and a flinch, and I think it was Katka underneath. It was, so he will be warned with a caution. Miller trying to stick a leg in. Katka catches the leg. He tries to elevate it. Miller squeezing as tightly as he can, and Katka is away. 4-3, the freshman, Virginia Tech on top.
I sense the confidence of Hunter Katka right now. I sense him feeling this match is going in his direction.
Quinn Miller has been through so much in his time in Charlottesville, coming back from 2 serious injuries. A back injury sidelined him for a while. A knee injury cost him a season.
Quinn Miller's got to close the distance right now. Hunter Katka is using his arms to keep Miller away.
Tries to come in on a high crotch. Katka says, not on my watch. Katka still with that head control, trying to swivel around, working off the front headlock. Miller backpedaling a little bit. Now he comes around the side, and out of bounds they go. A couple of heavyweights looking like middleweights with the footwork on the edge of the mat.
You just see the progression of Hunter Katka, feeling very strong where he is. Miller can go back to his low single again. He's got to close the distance, though. He can't take a bad shot. But he's got to create something soon. Got 30 seconds left. Something's got to happen.
Miller turn, look toward the clock. Big club delivered by Katka to keep him at bay. 20 seconds. Miller shoots. Katka again. Wise able to back out. Miller with time for one more real legitimate strike. This collar tie won't do it. Katka maintaining control, keeping that arm locked, and it will be the freshman, Hunter Katka. Without Makai Lewis, Virginia Tech needed other wrestlers to step up, and they get it from Katka. And Lewis will be one of the first ones to greet him as he comes off the mat. Big win for Hunter Katka, Virginia Tech. 4-3 over Quinn Miller, and it will be NC State and Virginia Tech. Those two did not meet during the duel. Remember, it was Borse for the Hokies. So an intriguing final tonight, heavyweight, 7 o'clock Eastern on the ACC network.
Big win for Hunter Katka, not just for this tournament, but maybe for his career.
Both the Wolfpack and the Hokies pick up points at heavyweight. They both pick up the full allotment, so it's NC State with a 12-point advantage through the semifinal round. The consolations all coming up. Still chance to pick up points along the backside. And more importantly, wrestlers looking for that third and final automatic spot into the NCAAs. Well, certainly the opening rounds have not disappointed from the 2021 ACC Wrestling Championships. Coming in so many different storylines. Would NC State repeat for their third consecutive title? Would up-and-comer Virginia move into the pack? It's all about the pursuit of the ACC Wrestling Championship.
Welcome back to our semifinal coverage of the 2021 ACC Wrestling Championships. We're now in the 165-pound bracket. Earlier, Ryan Tice, we saw Kennedy Monday take care of Thomas Bullard. Now he'll face the 1 seed Jake Wenzel. Meanwhile, Lewis, actually, you've got news on him, and the number 3 seed Jake Keating will, I understand, get a pass.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the best semifinals of the tournament. Jake Wenzel versus Kennedy Monday. These two guys have wrestled 3 times in college. Jake Wenzel's come out on top twice, but Kennedy Monday, when he is on, he can go with anybody in the country.
Number 2 is ranked to the semifinals at 165 pounds.
So it's now official, the injury default on mat 1. Ryan, I'd like you to get a little bit deeper in that because you're talking about a former national champion.
Yeah, I think that's just what Virginia Tech had to do for Mekhi Lewis. You hate to see it. Got hurt wrestling Jake Wenzel from Pitt, who we see here as the 1 seed, and they hope to have him ready to go for NCAAs, so I'm sure he'll be strongly considered for an NCAA wild card, if not a essential lock to get one of those.
Wenzel's been impressive against ranked opposition several times this season, 4-1 on the year, including wins over Lewis that you just mentioned, as well as Jake Keating, Kennedy Monday, and also an outstanding wrestler from Navy. Wenzel's win over Lewis was by injury default. He was leading at 3-0 in the 3rd period with riding time nearly clinched as well. So it's important to point out that when Lewis did default, it was Wenzel that essentially had a 4-0 lead.
Yeah, he took Mekhi Lewis down in that match after having his leg up for about a minute. And there's not a lot of people that can finish on Mekhi Lewis. So that shows you the kind of talent that Jake Wenzel has. But this one is a match we've seen before, Jake Wenzel versus Kennedy Monday. Monday has come out on top before, and it's been close sometimes. This is the one thing you don't want to do against Jake Wenzel, start going upper body. He is very strong and very good with his throws.
Less than a minute remaining. We're only in the first. But inside the mind of a wrestler, Ryan Tice, knowing what you know about Kennedy Monday, the highs have been high, the lows have been low. What does he have to do to knock off the number 1 seed, Jake Wenzel?
He needs to just have confidence. Wrestling is so much about confidence. He's beaten this guy before. He's just got to believe in himself that he can do it. And that was the same message from Coleman Scott when we talked to him this week. The Carolina staff is extremely confident in Kennedy Monday. They really say when he believes in himself, he can go and beat anybody in the country. He also gave Mekhi Lewis one heck of a match during the dual season.
See what he can do against Jake Wenzel, a redshirt senior from South Park, PA, and South Park High School. But it looks like with just 15 seconds remaining in the first, we may be at zeros through 1. Virginia Tech's Mekhi Lewis, an ACC champion and an NCAA champion, but not wrestling because of this right here.
Yeah, you just hate to see anybody wrestle, but you can see Jake Wenzel was even trying to get the referee's attention. Unfortunate that we don't get to see one of the ACC's stars in action today, but hopefully he'll be back and ready to defend his title at the NCAA championships.
Well, it makes it a lock that there'll be 4 coming out of 165. So that makes you even pay more attention to Kennedy Monday as a 4 seed, a disappointing ACC championship a year ago. Little better start with a nice win over Bullard, and now at zeros with Wenzel.
Came to Raleigh with a couple of falls in tow.
Yeah, that was the first round match I was looking forward to most in the entire tournament. Kennedy Monday versus Thomas Bullard. Monday came out on top of that one, 6-5, and he's trying to keep the momentum going against the 1 seed here.
4-1 in the ACC. Wenzel, next for the coaches, 6th.
This was also the semifinal match last year. Jake Wenzel beat Monday 3-2 before moving on to the finals and beating 4-time Virginia Tech All-American David McFadden. Very impressive win there for Jake Wenzel.
So when Lewis won that ACC title, of course, 2 years ago prior to COVID, and I had the opportunity to interview all the winners, right, Ryan, Matt's side, and I would always see you there. It was always fun talking to you there. But Lewis, in that interview, indicated, of course, I guess they all do, but he indicated in the interview in front of the Hokie faithful that he was planning on bringing home an NCAA championship. That was pretty brazen for a freshman, but I was impressed by that.
Especially with a defending champion still at the weight. And he was able to pull off the upset, get that national title as a true freshman. Impressive stuff.
Limited movement here, so let's take a look at the updated team standings. Of course, Virginia Tech went undefeated in the regular season, but with no Lewis, you wonder, but they still lead it 33.5. NC State at 30.5. Those are the two teams I think that will be looking to track down another ACC title.
Jake Wenzel starts the third period on bottom, and he is out right away.
So 1-0. Wenzel on top of Monday. Kennedy Monday, there have been times like you, Ryan, I've been able to call duels with North Carolina where he looks like the most dangerous wrestler in the world, and then other times he just looks a little bit lost. He's got to get something going right here.
Yeah, he's got to get his offense going. He's able to take down anybody in the country, but again, I don't want to be a broken record. It comes down to belief. He's got to believe he can take down Jake Wenzel, and he's going to have to figure out a way to get to those legs.
It is fair to say that part of that conundrum, for lack of a better word, describing Monday is he's not been 100% healthy the entire time. And to his credit, he's actually wrestled through some very tough, aggravating injuries and kept going out there. So that is also part of the Kennedy Monday story.
The other thing Monday's going to want to do here is he's going to want to stay out of those upper body ties that Wenzel loves, just like this. Wenzel is one of the best upper body guys. He's really strong, and that's not where Monday wants to be.
No, when you hit Wenzel's upper body, it's like hitting a brick wall. It's like going across the middle and a middle linebacker just flattening you.
It's a great way of putting it, Dean.
Look at that.
He just keeps going right back to those double unders. Oh!
That was like a tricep lift from Wenzel.
Look at Monday picking up the action now here.
He's only got 5 seconds remaining, and I think it's going to be too late. So Monday will have to make noise from the consolation bracket, as it only took one lonely point, but the number 1 seed, Jake Wenzel, will move on to the finals tonight on ACC Network. The win for Wenzel.
Yeah, great win for Jake Wenzel, coming out and beating Kennedy Monday 1-0. Not a ton of offense, but just enough to get it done.
Let's take a look at the 174 bracket. Your number 1 seed from NC State, Daniel Bullard. Dakota Howard with a late run to take care of Jared McGill. Marcelli from Virginia. Clay Lout from North Carolina, your number 2 seed. 3 NCAA qualifiers coming out of 174. Daniel Bullard, your number 1 seed from your alma mater, NC State.
Yeah, Daniel Bullard's a guy who hasn't had a huge national profile throughout his career. He's really coming on strong these last 2 years. I mean, he was always good, but he has taken it to a new level this season, and that shows with his number 1 seed in this bracket.
Dakota Howard, as Ryan Tice described, those tree trunk legs came in handy for a late run to get by McGill. Meanwhile, Daniel Bullard making his 4th straight appearance at the ACC Championships, all at 174, has gone 7-3 combined the previous 3 seasons and has never placed lower than 3rd.
Remarkable consistency from Daniel Bullard.
It's worth reminding, if you missed Dakota Howard, the 4 seed, taking care of Jared McGill, he had tech-falled Jared McGill in the match prior to the ACC Championship, but McGill looked like he was going to win it, as we've got a timeout right now. But then Dakota Howard in the final minute, as I think we're going to have an official review, was able to come back, get 2 points, and then win it in overtime.
Yeah, Dakota Howard, wasting no time getting in on a shot here. Very close to that takedown. The referee ruling no takedown, but they are going to the monitor for a review. And important to note, this is not a coach's challenge. This was the referees going back to the monitor on their own. And right there, when he covers that second ankle, that's going to be awfully close to a takedown for Dakota Howard. Does he have control while he's in bounds? That's the question. I mean, it is bang, bang. That toe drag might have been in, though.
So we'll wait. We'll tell you more about Bullard. He was named an All-American last year and qualified for the NCAAs the 2 years prior. In 2018, he went 17-11, 19, 21-11. Last year, 23-5, and this year 6-1. His only loss coming to Thomas Flitz from App State. Was that a surprise to you?
It was a huge shocker. When I talked to Pat Papalizio about that match, he said the Bullards sometimes start off their seasons a little slow. And that was certainly the case this year. Not that Thomas Flitz is not a quality wrestler. He is. But that's just one you wouldn't have expected on paper.
On February 5th, these two met, and it was a win for Daniel Bullard, a major decision. The final score was 10-2. So the call stands still at zeros.
It's important to note, during the regular season, this was a 10-2 major decision victory for Bullard over Howard. You see, Howard was intent on getting off to a quicker start with that early shot.
After Marcelli wins the flip into first to later on, wow. Head to the tail position, playing out of North Carolina.
6 of the 10 Hokies competing at the 2021 ACC Championships do so for the first time in their career, including redshirt sophomore Dakota Howard.
It's a deep shot from Howard.
He's 28-23 in his collegiate career.
Howard has his leg grab, but Howard flips right over it as if he knew Bullard was going to go with that move. Bullard stays with it, has Howard in a little bit of trouble. They scramble now. This after the initial shot from Howard. They flip-flop offense, and what do you think?
It's a 50-50 scramble right now. I mean, that is what Daniel Bullard does, and he comes out on top.
There it is.
Daniel Bullard had one leg on the mat. Dakota Howard had the other up in the air. He's able to dive under, create a scramble, and that's just what Daniel Bullard does. Comes out of it with 2.
Yeah, he converts defense into offense so often.
That's exactly right. That's his money. That's his go-to move right there. Let a guy think he's got him in a bad spot, dive under or go over top and turn it into his own offense.
So Bullard, 2-0 lead on Howard. Final seconds counting down here in the first. Riding time starting to build up for Bullard. So Bullard with a 2-0 lead.
And here's how he got that 2-0 lead. He ends up in a scramble, starts turning it into his offense, and eventually completes the takedown right there. Spins around behind. Just a great scramble. And Daniel Bullard doing what he does.
Nice work by our crew, Josh Monk, Chad Lampman, and the rest of our great crew. Brian Ware on camera. Matt 2-0. Bullard on top of Howard and Virginia Tech.
I'm going to guess Dakota Howard had choice in the second period and picked neutral. He knows what it's like to be underneath Daniel Bullard. That's one of Bullard's best positions, is being on top. Did not want any part of that inadvertent eye poke as Howard recovers.
Ryan 3 will come out of 174, so you look at the seeds, and that shows Victor Marcelli to go with Bullard and Lout. Dakota Howard, if you watched him this year, he could sneak in there. I mean, it won't be a walk in the park, will it, for Marcelli if they see each other in the consolation finals?
No, that should be a great one if that's what we end up seeing. But I'm not ready to call this one over quite yet. I mean, Dakota Howard really impressed me in that first round, coming out in overtime. And he's been very active in this match so far.
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. This is far from over. Shot coming from Bullard.
And that might be the one area Daniel Bullard has developed the most in the last year or so. Developing a shot so that he's not always reliant on the scrambles.
It's so hard to shoot on Bullard, though, because, as you mentioned, those legs are like tree trunks, but he also has the flexibility and nimble to spread those legs 5-6 feet apart. It's really hard to do much on a shot sometimes against Howard. Just a 2-0 lead from Bullard as he was able to go on defense, convert it to offense in Daniel Bullard style as we take a look at the resume for the number 1 seed at 174 in Bullard. There it is from Lawrenceville, Georgia. 16 career pins. Runner-up at last year's ACC championship and a 3-time NCAA qualifier.
Wow, both guys, when they get choice, going neutral this match. Howard in on a shot immediately.
Nothing lead for Bullard.
Excuse me, so that must be what happened. Bullard took down and Howard just decided to cut him.
And
Bullard warned for stalling there. His first, something to watch.
Once again, Bullard starts on D, avoiding the shot from Howard, and we'll see as they scramble out of that if Bullard can turn it into points again. That's how he was able to receive his first 2 points, as you know, Ryan.
And that's just his money move, those scrambles off of other guys' shots, and he's going to turn this one into 2 again. Very close to finishing, no points yet.
It's because of the left leg, but there it goes. .50. So Bullard will just ride these final 15 seconds against Howard. And Daniel Bullard, your #1 seed, will be seen tonight on ACC Network in the 174-pound final.
Big time win for Daniel Bullard. He turned Howard's offense into points, and he comes out with a shutout victory to move on to the finals.
So congratulations to Mr. Bullard. As we push to 184, we see the Hokie superstar Hunter Boland, who will take on Greg Harvey, as he was able to beat Michael Batista. Devin Kane beat Vincent Baker. It'll be Kane and Trent Hidley, but Hunter Boland, Virginia Tech, another one of those wrestlers that could win a national championship.
You're exactly right, Dean. He is in the thick of it for a national title with everybody in the country at 184 pounds. And many people have him ranked #1 nationally coming in to conference tournament time.
You see Trent Hidley down below. Hunter Boland, you see him right now, was the only Hokie to win an individual ACC title at last year's ACC championships, defeating Trent Hidley 2-1 in the 184-pound final. We're underway. Boland from Virginia Tech, Harvey from Pitt. (8-0) on the season, 5-0 in ACC duels. Former ACC champ and NCAA qualifier. Hunter Boland from Floyd, Virginia, last year's champion at this event, former freshman of the year, 2-time NCAA qualifier, pretty good in the ACC overall, 53-14 at 184. That's a hard weight class to dominate. That's a really impressive record at 53-14.
You're exactly right, Dean. Hunter Boland's just a guy that doesn't have many holes in his game. He's good on top. It's so tough to get to his legs. Tony Roby said he can scramble like a lightweight, and he's freaky strong on top of all that.
Ranked as the #1 184-pound wrestler in the country in each of the Intermat, Flow Wrestling, and Track Wrestling rankings. He's also been the #1 choice in both NCAA coaches' rankings. The Floyd, Virginia native was the only Hokie to go 5-0 in this ACC season, as Virginia Tech went undefeated.
Important to note, Greg Harvey was hit for a stalling call there. Just his first of the match.
Greg Harvey, redshirt senior, 4-4 on the season, 68-51 overall. He comes into this one, though, having lost his last 4. That was, of course, before his victory, so He's got a win streak going. So lost his last 4 before the ACC championship. Won in the first round. Now takes on one of the best in the country.
And that was a nice win for Greg Harvey in the first round, and upset, according to the seeds, the 5 seed over the 4 seed.
There is the bio blast on Greg Harvey from Boyertown, Pennsylvania. Placed 3rd a year ago and qualified for the NCAA tournament.
Thought it was interesting when we were talking to head coach Keith Gavin, and he was talking about Greg Harvey, and he admitted Greg Harvey was not supposed to be as good as he's been so far in his college career. It's kind of surprised a lot of people with how well he's done after being a guy that wasn't very highly recruited.
Zeros with Bolin quick to his feet and quick to get the first point.
After starting the period on top, Greg Harvey moves back to neutral as Hunter Bolin of Virginia Tech escapes to take the early margin. Bolin, a redshirt junior from Floyd, Virginia, 8-0 in the regular season. He won all 5 of his ACC games. Bolin ranked number 1 in the country at 100.
I've been impressed by Greg Harvey so far. He has been active and neutral and come close to scoring twice now.
Bolin's record attack 53-14.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out Bolin's game plan here, as it's fair for what you said to be impressed with Harvey, but I'm trying to figure out, there it is. Defended though away by Harvey. Good shot from Bolin, even better defense from Harvey.
Yeah, and that's the second stall call against Harvey, which results in a point for Bolin. That's how he got to the 2-0 lead.
Harvey won his first 3 of the season over Navy, Lehigh, and Duke before suffering losses against State, Virginia, North Carolina, and Mr. Bolin. Bounced back with a win in his opening round here today. Finds himself down just 2 with 20 seconds remaining in the second.
Despite Devin King of North Carolina nearly a speedway victory, NC State maintains control for now with a 2-1 lead. Just past the midpoint of the second period of round 1.
Harvey threatens again with that shot, and Bolin right out of it.
And number 2, also going to 84 pounds. A 2-0 lead for Hunter Bolin, Virginia Tech.
What do you expect from Bolin here now with Harvey down? Release and wrestle, or try to use his power?
I think he's going to try to bleed as much time from the clock as possible by riding.
Okay.
He's up 2-0 and not been able to get to his offense in neutral either. That factors in.
Ryan, that was a pretty massive buildup we gave Hunter Bolin. And again, going back to my comment earlier about perhaps thinking about the finals, I'm not sure, but it's not like he has exactly fit the description that we blew up before this one.
Yeah, on paper, this is not gone as you would expect at all. And Hunter Bolin's points have been 1 escape and 2 stalls for a point. We
can tell you that Kane and Hiley are 2-2 right now on mat 1 So both semifinal matchups at 184 are pretty tight. I mean, I don't feel like Boland's concerned, but I think you understand what I'm asking you, Ryan. He is not looking like a freight train.
Yeah, these lower seeded guys have not come to be taken lightly. You can't do that. You can't look past to the finals. I know we built up this possible Boland-Hidley match as a possible NCAA finals preview, but these ACC guys in the semifinals got other ideas. Big mat return there from Boland.
That's more of what we've seen during the regular season right there, that kind of power, the lift, and like you said, the mat return. But Harvey sticking with it.
And I was going to say Harvey needs to make sure he gets his point there, and he does.
Took him a while, but he got it.
Yeah, it would have been devastating if he got up to his feet like that and they went out of bounds with Boland still in control. Boland is over a minute of riding time, as you see down there in the lower left.
Well, and that's where the hype does match, because I just saw the fatigue on Harvey's face. It comes from that riding time, the ability to hold the head down, and the power that Hunter Boland brings.
You're exactly right. It might not look it to the naked eye, but Hunter Boland has suffocated his opponent here. Both these guys breathing heavy.
Kane and Hidley at 4-4, Ryan, over on mat 1. Hidley does have the riding time point, though, so could be a Boland-Hidley rematch in the finals tonight on ACC Network.
That just shows you the depth of the ACC. These 1 and 2 seeds are two of the best guys in the country at this weight, and they are getting pushed to the limit by the 3 seed and right here the 5 seed Greg Harvey.
So Hidley with the riding time does win. Hunter Boland also gets an extra point with the riding time. So Hunter Boland, Trent Hidley once again tonight in the finals at 184. Congratulations to the Hokies, Hunter Boland. We now push to 197, where Pitt comes into play, and their number 1 seed, Nino Bonacorsi, will take on Nick Reenan, who got it done against Andy Smith. Reenan earned that spot through a wrestle-off with his teammate. Meanwhile, down below, it's the 2 and 3 seeds. 3 automatic qualifiers at 197. Our first look at Nino Bonacorsi, at least our first look today. We've seen a lot of this talented wrestler from Pittsburgh over the years.
Yeah, Nino Bonacorsi is one of the best 197-pounders in the country. One of the things to watch for with him, he gets 2 legs so easily. He's one of the best 197-pounders in neutral anywhere.
Bonacorsi has won 3 in a row. He comes in here with a 7-1 record on the season, 74-19 overall. He's not big on pins, just 1. But he did it in 1 minute and 44 seconds. Reenan with that 3-2 win over Smith. And those were big points for NC State if they're going to win an ACC championship.
You're exactly right, Dean. These guys got to wrestle over their seeds to help make up points, and Nick Reenan, the 4 seed, into the semifinals and taking on the top-seeded Nino Bonacorsi.
First shot coming from Bonacorsi. Had 2 legs at first, now hanging on to 1.
And you just see how easily he got in on a deep shot like that. Reenan trying to tie him up with that chest wrap, but Bonacorsi getting awfully close to a finish. There it is.
Remember, Renan is a two-time NCAA qualifier, so solid competition for Bonacorsi, but Bonacorsi next level and showing it here.
Yeah, I think one of the most surprising results across college wrestling this year was when Nino Bonacorsi was upset by Renan's teammate Isaac Trumbull in the duel.
That's when I think I reached out to you and basically just said, what is up with Mr. Trumbull? We can tell you that Max Shaw, 4-0 lead on Ayala from Virginia.
Hey, we knew coming in there were going to be upsets. I just don't know if we necessarily expected them in the semifinals.
How about the jump for Nino last year, moving up from 184?
Yeah, he moved up to 197 this year, and he was a guy that had proven himself, earned the 10 seed at NCAAs last year, moved on up to 97. Seems like it's been a good fit for him the way he's done this season. Renan hit for stalling, his first of the match.
Bulldozer right now from Bonacorsi. Straight bulldozer, right? Just power.
Yeah, he's so good at getting the legs, and he's really good at finishing as well.
He's got time to try to get some points. He takes a look at the clock. Can he get in position to try to get Renan on his back here? Is there enough time? Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's going to just be content riding this out on top.
Bonacorsi will ride in the period. Take a 4-1 lead into the second, 197 pounds on mat number 2. Nino Bonacorsi.
Got to adjust the score.
7-1 regular season.
As Bonacorsi, I do believe, is leading.
Yeah, here was the second takedown from Bonacorsi.
Yeah, you see him switch it right there. Even the refs make mistakes every once in a while, Ryan.
That's right. Looks like they're getting things straightened out at the scores table. Should be 4-1 Bonacorsi. 2 takedowns to 1 escape for Renan. Referees still at the table. Believe they're going to be looking at riding time.
Good to see Brian Reinhardt, the Director of Digital Communications and the SID for NC State Wrestling. As you see Coach Gavin for Pitt, Brian Reinhardt does an outstanding job as an SID. And he's kind of like you. He's got a little media personality. He's got a podcast going or something, right?
That's right. SID of the Year in 2019. A well-deserved honor for Mr. Reinhardt.
So this is where the confusion was, and then because of that, they have to adjust the points and the riding time.
Yeah, you see the riding time starting to tick down because the referee initially awarded it to red. It should have been going up from, I believe it was at 50 seconds. It should have been going up here.
Score is updated, riding time is updated, and it's your number 1 seed, Bonacorsi, with a 5-1 lead. A lot of layers to the scoring system. Of course, big points to be had tonight for the finals, 7 o'clock on the ACC Network. Not sure what kind of dive you did on that, Ryan Tice, as you factored in knowing that Lewis was not going to be available. I feel like a lot of people feel like that right there will give NC State a high probability of winning an ACC title.
Yeah, they were the favorites even with Lewis being in the bracket, and then for him to come out and Virginia Tech to be shut out from points at 165, that just makes it awfully tough for them to make up that ground.
2015 was the last time the regular season champ did not win as Virginia won the ACC championships. 5-1 lead for Bonacorsi. See Renan trying to lock the head of Bonacorsi. Bonacorsi gets through it and earns 2 more.
Yeah, we knew Bonacorsi's so good in neutral, and he's really showing it here. 3 takedowns so far.
The other 197-pound semi comes to a conclusion in the second period. Score tied at 4 between Max Shaw of North Carolina.
Always good wrestling at Pitt, including the redshirt junior Nino Bonacorsi at 197. He's from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. 2020 ACC champion, 2-time NCAA qualifier. And as we mentioned earlier, there's Pennsylvania wrestlers all over the country at the top schools. But it's nice to see Coach Gavin, a national champion, back at his alma mater, keeping some of those great wrestlers from the state of Pennsylvania at Pitt.
Yeah, the most fertile recruiting ground in the country for this sport, and he's certainly taken advantage of that. Renan's got to build a base here and work up to have a chance in this one. And Bonacorsi just flattened him out.
Yeah, from 184 to 197, Bonacorsi making it look seamless. I mean, he's making it look like he belongs at 197 with some power, the ability to ride big opponents.
Yeah, and he's got a win over Jay Aiello this year, who's a full-size 197-pounder for Virginia. So there's no doubt Nino Bonacorsi is one of the best in the country at this weight. And look at that riding time.
Yeah, almost 3 minutes, right?
That's dominant right there.
And you wonder how that will affect Renan, because it's not a very long turnover, and they got to go to work in the consolation bracket to try to make it to the NCAAs. And just as much as you think about the number 1 seeds managing their time, the opponents that are going up against the number 1 seeds, they can be concerned as they drop down into that consolation bracket.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and he'll be wrestling a guy who's been off this last round. So that'll be something to watch.
Former national champion Keith Gavin. I liked his answer when I asked him if people still ask him what it took to win it, and he said even members of his team still ask him. I like hearing that, because sometimes I fear the youngsters forget about those that paved the way.
No doubt. I mean, hey, how can you forget Keith Gavin's title? He was such a great wrestler at Pitt, and now he appears to be right on that same path in his coaching career. Nice win.
Yeah, real nice win, right?
For Nino Bonacorsi. Dominant. 3+ minutes of riding time.
So now we go to heavyweight, 285, and again, another one of the best in the country, Deontay Wilson. As you see, Andrew Gunning, just a 1-0 win over Austin Cooley. That's all it took. Hunter Katka was dominant as he pushes forward to take on Quinn Miller. And you can see Wilson and Gunning are already set. Deontay Wilson, special athlete.
He is. He is one of those heavyweights that's pretty close to that weight limit, but man, is he impressive. He's got a gas tank. He's got great footwork. He's a phenomenal athlete for his size, and he's really taken a jump from last season to this season and established himself as the heavyweight to beat in the ACC.
He's 3-0 against Gunning, including 6-1 win this year, 5-2 win last year.
Yeah, and that 5-2 decision last year is a little bit deceiving. Andrew Gunning was in on a shot late. Deontay Wilson stopped it, spun around for two, and set Reynolds Coliseum off because it was a winner-take-all match in that duel, and it was a packed house.
The big boys going at it.
Thought one of the interesting things that Pat Papalizio said when we talked about Deontay Wilson is he really wishes he could see Deontay Wilson versus one of those top 5 or 6 guys in the country, because he thinks Deontay's right there in that tier. He just hasn't had the opportunity in the last year and a half to wrestle a guy with that type of resume.
I've always been impressed with the footwork from Wilson. You talk a lot about the arms and the upper body strength, but Wilson's got some pretty quick feet. In fact, as you broke down that key move last year against Gunning, that was part of it.
Absolutely. The way he was able to stop that shot and spin around behind, it's all head, hands, defense, and then footwork for the finish.
Standard zeros here, heavyweight style. That gets me a chance, Ryan, and this will seem like a softball, but I'm sincere in this. The culture for NC State with their wrestling program, I reference their swimming program as well. They really are the standard over at NC State, and you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and it really starts at the top. That culture starts at the top. Pat Papalizio is a guy who does everything right, lives and breathes wrestling, and I think that really trickles down to the team. And, of course, they have very high standards off the mat. And that goes in the recruiting, that goes in the guys when they're on campus, and it's really the total package that the Wolfpack has going on right now within this program.
Wilson 22-12 in 2019, 19-9 a year ago, 7-0 this year, still at zeros. He does have one major, that was against Tim Warren from App State back on January 8th.
Gunning hit for stalling there, his first. Oh, it looks like I just saw a finger come up from the referee. That was the first stalling call. I wonder if he's saying that. We'll see what he does here. See Coleman Scott not happy with the call. No points as far as I can tell. It looks like it was just a... No, there it is. There's the point.
You mentioned Wilson's win last year. Break it down, Ryan.
Yeah, Gunning in on a shot late. This was going to be the deciding match, and he just turned it around. Deontay Wilson did, scored the 2, secured the match, and you see how packed Reynolds was. That was the loudest I have ever heard Reynolds Coliseum.
Wilson, redshirt senior for the NFL, 7 wins in the regular season for the Packers.
Second point now for Wilson. So Coleman Scott, does he have a legitimate beat there on that first point that was awarded to Wilson?
It's tough to say. I mean, that's kind of like a judgment call on the referee's part. But that's what he ruled, and that's what we got to go with. I would love to see another look at it just to see what it was. I imagine he was saying he just went off the mat and wasn't wrestling there.
With his first ranked victory, also a redshirt senior, Gunning, 0-2 in his ranked competition this year, as a coach's panel ranking of 27, and a career mark of 30 wins atop 24 losses.
Look at Deontay Wilson picking up the pace.
Hunter Canfield, Virginia Tech, with the first team down at number 1. The freshman improved to 8-1 with his opening round win. Keen into this championship with a pair of top falls and 2 major decisions. But he finds himself now tied at 2 as Virginia's Quinn Miller.
2-0 Wilson on top of Gunning. 30 seconds left. Wilson feinted a shot. Gunning was ready. And they go out of bounds. Was Dave Duran tried to get Wilson in the corner and talk to him a little bit?
Hey, he might not be a bad lineman later on in his career because he's a guy that wrestled as a true freshman. Could be one of those potential, switches sports after his 4th year.
Deontay Wilson, heavyweight, undefeated. He's from New York. Runner-up a year ago, wants to change that this year. State champion at 285 when he was 31-2 as a senior.
I'm not going to lie, Dean. I thought that was an interesting decision there by Gunning, choosing neutral in the 3rd period. I guess he did not want to go underneath the size of Wilson. You see Wilson's not getting tired.
No, he's not. And you know what? When he started his career, he would get tired, right? Fair to say, but he looks like power. And as I say that, Gunning gets a leg there. So Gunning, let's see what he can do here. He might be able to get 2 and tie it, and he does. That's huge.
Big time finish there from Andrew Gunning. And he's got to get right back to work in neutral, down 1. He doesn't have time to rest.
So yeah, he had to release there. So this is where I think the power of Wilson is going to be too much. I don't know if Gunning has another shot like the one he just made on Wilson.
Yeah, the power and just the sheer size of Wilson will really wear on you as an undersized heavyweight like Gunning is.
Double leg to a single.
He's got to finish quick here.
He's got him in trouble. Oh, there's the power of Wilson getting out of bounds.
That's it.
And that'll be enough. Boy, Wilson didn't make it easy, but nonetheless, he's advanced for a chance to win an ACC championship. Deontay Wilson, a slim win, but a win nonetheless.
Great single from Andrew Gunning. Oh, excuse me, this is the final the one that Gunning could not finish. It was a great shot, just not able to finish it on the edge of the mat. Deontay Wilson hangs on for the 3-2 victory.
The 2021 ACC Wrestling Championships rolling on. We now know who will be in the finals at 7 o'clock tonight. We'll be back at 3:30 to bring you the consolation bracket and the consolation finals from Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh, North Carolina on ACC Network Extra.